Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but a Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They got me by the drink cause I'm cold with the pen. I find no diamonds but I still shine. You can dig me cause my bar's mine. My tracks flame like a Galoo. The hardest part on my tongue, thinking this is warm blue. I'm a stove with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist, but you smell me. One spark, then I bet you I'ma blow up. They throw my name around, get stupid, then you go dumb. No rest for the weary. A bunch of sitting in his man, but you can't see me. You rather drink than go pull up. I'm drinking knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, call me brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I poured all the planks, you need Decepticons. Fake rappers to retreat like Cobra. 80s they before they like. Up in the storage and I'm E-man. Up, down, then I'm cheap. You a beast, man. I take a beat in. Ninja turtle rap, turtle clans get defeated. High samurai, you can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me, cause I'm a guy bomb. Bad attitude like a rocket, my whole to the A, and I bet you can stop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
This is a test.
What's up? What is going on, everybody? This your man Drake, man, coming to you again with a horrible way to start this off. I did not know my mic was muted. Oh man. Coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. 7:30 in the morning Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. And if you're on the West Coast right now, go ahead and get up, because you already know that the early bird gets the worm. And on today, we have a very long video to get through, and I'm already late. So it's the Birdman's latest video, destroying Asmongold again. I don't know why this dude. I don't understand how some of these dudes like Asmongold. I don't understand, for one, why they poke the bear. You know what I'm saying? Why they even poke the bear at the Birdman? Sometimes it's just better just to shut up because sometimes it's better. But I remember I did see a video where Osmond was going off of the debunction of the Birdman, like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, this is not what it is, yada yada yada, and trying to push his his beliefs, which is okay, but they're dead ass wrong. And I even had people coming in the chat, in the comment section, like really trying to defend this dude. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I really do. I really get it. This is your guy. You know what I'm saying? You want to defend him. You're going to defend him. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with defending your guy. But defending your guy on complete ideological racist theories and thoughts, you can miss me with that. You know what I mean? You can miss me with that. There's no amount of convincing me, especially when it's coming from a racist point of view, that you can have with me. And that last video that I did, with Birdman, I legitimately had people come into my chat. Oh, Ethiopians, they bathe with piss. Like, all Ethiopians, I mean, you're talking about the most I'm like, are you serious? I just after a while, I started letting people just talk. So I was like, you could say what you could say, whatever. I just let you, if that's what you believe, you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to go back and forth with dumbasses. And it was some trash that I was hearing, some complete trash. So we are going to get into this video. And like I said, this video is a little over an hour. You know what I mean? A little over an hour. So we are going to get into it today. So hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant React channel. But you kind of already know how I do. I ain't even set up. Hey, let me get set up. You already know the real question is, are you
say why you hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.
All right. Let me see who is all in the house today. Krisha Key, good morning. Wavy Thames, good morning. Tina, aka Minty Gasm, good morning. Xavier Phoenix, good morning. Damon Millie, what's going on? Good morning. Marley Mark, good morning. Q is not a robot, the admin, good morning. Michael Johnson, good morning. Presetta, good morning. Deron, good morning. Julian Network, good morning. Let me see. I didn't even know the audio was off. It was off on StreamYard side this time, not me touching the button. That was wild. Honey Iggy, good morning. You send me a lot of stuff, bro. And y'all have to understand, I'm only one dude. I run one show and I do one thing, one topic a day. You know what I mean? You can't send me like 80 things and be like, did you get what I said? You sent me a lot of stuff, dude. You sent me a lot of stuff. That's for anybody. I love the suggestions and stuff like that, but I got to pick one topic per day. And I only do this 5 days a week. So if I don't pick your topic or whatever, don't trip. It's just, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. There's a lot of people who send me stuff. I get stuff literally. I got some stuff earlier today. You know what I'm saying? Before I even got on the stream. So, I appreciate y'all and I really do, but I can't do everything. I'm only one man and I only got one show. All right. Namaze, good morning. Let me see. Tori and Rain Reloaded, good morning. Justice, no. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Chrissy K, did I get you? If I didn't, good morning again. If I didn't get you, I think I did, but yeah. So again, I love the fact that you guys send me stuff. I see as much as I possibly can, but you have to understand. You gotta understand. I do work 11 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Tuesday through Friday when I gotta go to work, and then I'm trying to catch. And then I gotta do my show. That's literally between an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on the show, depending on the topic we're talking about, depending on the video we're reacted to. You know, in a lot of other stuff. So, you know, it's I appreciate it. I really do. I really appreciate it. But you really have to understand that I only get to certain things at a certain period of time. And I try to plan this thing out during the week unless it's something that just is breaking news. It's something that we have to talk about. You know what I mean? That's different. That's a lot. That's a whole lot different. And I have my show structured. You know what I mean? But again, I appreciate it. Keep sending me stuff. But if I don't pick it, don't get mad. There's been plenty of subjects when I was on TMZ that I never got to do, that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? I had to go with what I can. All right. Let me transition real quick. Let me shout out all the crew members because you know I really appreciate you guys, man. Let's freaking go. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you know you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that been holding it down for Dre Mac and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. Go. Bye. All right. So again, if you do want to be a part of the crew, all you got to do is hit the join button over there, the main channel. It helps out the channel a lot. All right. And that's like I'm literally just now, because I needed some rest. Just now getting to all those videos that I did over the last like 7 days, those live shows I didn't make clips for. I'm going back and clipping the best parts of the show. I didn't even post up my responses to Ernie last week as far as clips. You know what I mean? It was just a lot. It was a lot going on. So I still need to post those clips. So slowly but surely, I got the interview, the last portion of the video that I did with Lauren Victoria Burke. I posted that today. I'm going back and clipping the best parts of the Ernie videos that I do still have that's on here. I'm clipping those, putting those out there. Because again, I didn't. You know what I mean? So the videos that we did last week about the Warner Brothers deal, all of that, I haven't got to do any of that. So I still need to do that and spread that out over the week. So I got to do all my scheduling and all of that stuff, with days that post, when that's going to pop up, you know, and then do that for this week. So when I tell you there's a lot of things as far as being a content creator and trying to get all this information out, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. I literally just went to, especially if you follow me on Instagram, I literally went to a content creator space. Oh, that's what's wrong with this. Hold on, because that's too bright. Hold up. There we go. I was wondering why that was like bright in my face. But I just went to a content creators little gathering, not a little gathering. I don't want to say it like that. We had a meet and greet, and and I might start doing this. Honestly, I might start doing videos on this because it is very important. Number one, you got to be consistent on what you're doing, and you guys know every week we do something. We do a show here every week without no hesitation, without no nothing. Okay, we not watching Zoo Rangers? Is that what's going on? I guess not. Super Sentai's not playing. Guess we watching Jackie Chan. But but they were asking me, like, for one, I've been doing this. I legitimately been doing this in August for 9 years. I'm just now getting it. Well, let me take this back. Let me take that back. I've been doing podcasting for 9 years. I started to get on YouTube, I think in 2020, 2021. 2020. But a lot of those videos you would not see, they're hidden because they're old stuff. It doesn't align with what I got going on right now, and that's okay. But I'm just now in the last 4 years starting to get a lot more following. You know what I mean? And I had to have people understand that this is a marathon. This is not a race. Now, some people get famous real quick off of this. Sometimes you could be on here, you could be at 10,000 subscribers. You have one video that just blows up because this is the way the algorithm works now too. You guys got to understand that I can push as much material out as possible, but if the algorithm doesn't show it to you, you would never see it unless you're subscribed to the channel. You know what I mean? They push a lot more controversy. That's why I would never forget Kevin Samuels was talking about he just hit 100,000 subscribers. I think no, he was like at 10, 20,000 subscribers, made one video, the average and best video, it hits World Star, and this man's a sensation as far as the YouTube space after that. You know, and a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people that do a lot of things in this space or whatever, you know, via videos get you pushed more, the live stream. It's a lot to this game. So, you know, that's why when people come at me, I'm not just some YouTuber just popped up, 4 or 5 years ago. I've legitimately been in the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm just now starting to get recognized by different people. So you gotta have patience. This is a marathon. This is not a race. What is your digital footprint? What is your niche? What is your goals? We talked about all of that stuff. So, even the Birdman, I've been watching the Birdman literally, this was like 7-9 years ago. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to this, and you got to have patience. And I always ask my audience members, just have patience with me. You know what I mean? Because this is a lot to be able to get all this content, push this content out. Make sure that you guys, get it, get up, get off of work after doing a lot of manual labor all night, get you guys a show that you guys are going to enjoy, entertainment, wash my behind, work out, wash my behind, go to bed, and do it all over again for 4 more straight days. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying it's a lot to it. Just be patient with me. All right. Now that I said all of that, let me get to, what is this? Let me get to this video, but of course, because we gonna be here for a while. What's up, Derpy? What's up? Boycott Activision, what's up? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why boycott Activision. This is why I don't like being on the mobile side, because the mobile, I'm not gonna lie, the mobile side is trash. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I don't know if StreamYard is gonna fix this, but this is trash. Because as soon as I take off my my overlay, which this thing's supposed to have the overlay, supposed to be right. then they full screen you instead of having you the same size if you have an overlay. So I don't care. I'm not taking off my overlay. So you can most definitely go to the other version to be able to watch me, so you can see me in my full entirety, see all the forehead, all of that in its full entirety. All right, we got biscuits to make, biscuits to bake. So you already know we about to be here for a while. So just let me go to a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Max Show.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Now you can own one of the greatest gospel albums ever on the road, with only giant hits and legendary stars.
Biscuit. I know the truth about it. I love. Oh, how I love this biscuit. Oh, how I love this biscuit. It is the best biscuit. I know.
This treasury is not sold in stores, and when you call the toll-free number now, you also get another entire album of all-time gospel favorites. We now return to the Transformers.
All right. Let me it might be. I don't know. I don't know. But we about to find out. All right. Let's go and transition over. Let's see exactly what Birdman is talking about in this latest. I have not watched nothing. Y'all know I be watching this for the first time for myself. So let's get into it. This is the Birdman debunking Asmongold again, cooking him. I heard he was fried biscuits. All right, let's get into it. Let's go.
Well then, about a week and some change ago, I uploaded a video where I addressed a tweet made by Asmongold, where he claimed the average IQ in Somalia was 68, that this claim isn't racist, but a fact, and that this was an attempt at a narrative push to obscure reality. He was responding to a tweet made by Mehdi Hassan, where Hassan shows a clip of a discussion he had with Piers Morgan broaching this topic. In my video, I set out to do three things. The first was to prove that the claim made by Asmongold wasn't a fact. The second was to prove that it was in fact a racist claim. And the third was to show that due to him being wrong about the first two, that it was in fact Asmongold pushing a narrative, thus demonstrating the irony of his tweet.
Facts.
I spent basically 99% of that video not even talking about Asmongold, but about the claim itself, diving into the history of that claim, where it comes from, and why it was wrong. In less than an hour of me uploading my video, Asmongold streamed his response to my video, which he probably will be doing to this video. Hello again, Zach. His response was about what I expected, pausing the video before I could complete a statement, rambling incoherently about things tangentially related to what I said, if that, blatantly lying, and not providing any source to back up the ridiculous claims he made. Oh, and attacking me at the end, claiming I'm a racist that hates white people, which...
It's always Birdman. You already know it's shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's what they do. What's up, Andre Ware? It's shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. They cannot stand. I'm going to be honest with you. And this is the God's honest truth. A lot of racist white people cannot stand when a black man is intelligent. And a black man can be able to break down coherently and cohesively your argument. Period. They can't take it. They can't take the fact that you're intelligent. They can't take the fact that you actually speak better than them. Because you're black, you talk well. No, you actually articulate your words and have a legitimate, cohesive thought. Most of these dum-dums, because this is the third video this is the fourth video that we did a reaction video on Asmongold, because we did the video when he was attacking the young brother about video games. You know what I mean? Like he went after the young brother about video games. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. And I absolutely freaking love it because it shows our excellence in this space. And it shows you cannot debate without sign language. Again, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. Shout out to the Godfather, Kevin Samuels, RIP, for them nuggets. Let's keep going.
His strategy of interrupting me before I could finish speaking made it clear to everyone that he can't actually contend with what was being said, because actually allowing me to speak ruins his talking points. So he tried to flip the narrative away from his own ignorance of the topic to one of his canned talking points about inbreeding, and later a weak claim about me that a person that literally argues against racism for a living is a racist. So fine, Pee-wee Herman. You want to make a hasty response? I'm going to slowly cook you. And since you need your handheld, Zach, I'm going to put a symbol on the screen that lets you know when I'm done with a thought, so you don't have to constantly rewind the video to actually hear what I said. In one of the most ironic social media posts of all time, Asmongold makes the claim in response to Mehdi Hassan that the average IQ in Somalia is 68. And that
I was rounding up, actually. It's like somewhere around 67.67. But yeah.
So this is an example of what I'm talking about. Pausing to interject, usually with something irrelevant like this, because I guess he thought that was funny. You see, Zach mistakes talking with actually saying something. A professional yapper, if you will. I suppose he's afraid of allowing someone to fully finish a sentence lest his brain-dead audience hear something insightful.
Again, this is the reason why I try to pause. I will legitimately pause after a thought, or I will say, okay, my bad, Birdman. Let me go. Let me just do. That's why I do. This is why I love doing reactions live. I love doing reactions live because it gives me a chance to not only hear this with fresh ears, because it's not something that I've already watched and I'm remembering what they said and remembering a thought or I'm hearing this with fresh ears. I could go back, I could play it back, but I'm actually listening to what the person is saying so I can completely debunk it unless it's just utter monkey crap. And a lot of times these dudes just be talking and like again, this is the arrogance of a lot of these people in this space. And I say you people, you racist. Miss Roberta ain't here. I probably could cuss a little bit. She ain't in here yet. Yeah, she probably listening and she just ain't said nothing yet. Make sure you get the likes up too. But a lot of these racists and a lot of these grifters, racist grifters, what they would do is try to interject, because Keto Flex did this and a lot of these other yahoos do this all the time. They would try to interject with some type of joke or try to make something funny where you're not even listening. You don't want to listen because it kills your narrative. And again, if we kill your narrative, you can't eat. And again, I do believe in what Dave Chappelle said. You know, when he was when he discussed, you know, never come between a man and his meal. The man is going to defend his meal as much as he possibly can. That's why you think Tyrone Magnus comes out and said, I'm not a grifter. He called me a grifter. I don't be grifting or whatever. And then turn around and be like, this is woke. That's woke. You know, Mayor McNugget, grifter. Critical Drinker, grifter. All these guys, grifter. Neurotic, grifters. You know what I mean? Starkey J, grifter. You get in between their meal, they get defensive because they can't argue anything but the ideology and the narrative that they can push. If they can't push it, they don't eat. So this is why all this interjected, all this fluff is so hilarious to me.
Oh, the sign is on the screen, Zach. You can respond now. Or did you pause before I said even this? What makes this post ironic is the very last bit where Zach claims Hassan's tweet is an attempt to push a narrative.
It absolutely is trying to push a narrative.
Yes, Zach. We know that's what you believe, buddy. That's why I said that. Let's revisit the tweet Zach was responding to. Mehdi Hassan was having a conversation with Piers Morgan on his show. Hassan states that Piers has Trump denial syndrome, as Piers denies that Trump is a racist, to which Hassan responds with, he calls Somali people low IQ.
is you have TDS fears, you have Trump denial syndrome. When I say to you, is Trump racist? You say, no, he's not racist, even though he calls Somalis low IQ, Piers. Do you agree that Somali people are low IQ? Is that not the most racist thing?
Just to explain, Mehdi, just to explain.
You're dodging me.
This is not your show.
Do you think Somalis are low IQ?
This is not your show, Mehdi.
Do you think Somalis are low IQ?
You see, when challenge against ideology, challenge against belief, challenge against narrative pushing, you see how that goalpost is getting shifted? Now it's his show. Because answering a question with common flipping sense is too much, is way too much for them. So what do? You're watching Piers Morgan deflect. Anytime you see me do a reaction video and you see people come back and try to say what they mean, and it's all deflection, it goes all the way over there. Not answering the question, not saying without sarcasm, without jokes, without any of this. Answering the question like a human being. You want to answer, this is the answer. Most people don't do that. They want to deflect. They'll play victim. They'll do everything else but answer the damn question like an actual person, like a human being. You know what I mean?
You don't get to interview me for half an hour. It's not your show.
People are worried about your silence.
When I come on your show, I haven't been silent about any of these things.
So, as we all can see, the context was that Trump was a racist for using white supremacist rhetoric. Asmongold responds to that video with the aforementioned tweet, citing a not only incorrect number, but one put forth by a white supremacist. Remember the context. Hassan's point is that Trump is using racist rhetoric about a topic he very likely hasn't researched.
Facts.
Starting to sound familiar? So I point out the irony of Zach's tweet, that it's him actually pushing a narrative, the narrative being a seed that was planted a long time ago by a racist, repeating racist rhetoric.
Yes.
This was the core thesis of my video, pointing out the irony of this tweet and to debunk the claim at its root while explaining the conditions that Africans face, which accounts for them not having experienced the Flynn effect, or having experienced the Flynn effect to a lesser degree than we of the West.
And again, anybody who and this is why I love doing Birdman's videos. Number one, why I like doing his videos, because it's deep in thought and there's research information. Again, you can't argue against facts, data, and statistics that you can actually bring up. You can't argue with that. You cannot. That's why we try to bring up all the information that we possibly can on this show. So when we're talking and we're discussing this, let's bring it up. Let's see what it really is. So that way we all, as a general, we all have a general understanding who's watching this of what's going on. So Birdman comes with facts, factual data statistic, and somebody is still going to tell him that he's wrong.
Chart shows that all human groups have experienced significant IQ growth over time because, once again, IQ is not genetic, but based on environmental factors.
Facts.
And that right there, the fact that it's not genetic, or me saying that it's not genetic, seemed to turn off the light bulb in the brains of Asmongold and his viewers. They seem to think I said this is what Zach said or believed, and I didn't. I don't know where this talking point came from. I don't expect much intelligence when you're attempting to brigade someone, but I mean, it's almost like these people didn't even watch the video. The vast majority of the video, again, 99% of the runtime, is me talking about the history behind the number Zach used.
Facts.
Here is where I'll give Asmongold some leeway. To be fair to him, he's completely unaware of who I am and what I do, and that makes sense. I'm a much smaller creator, and we are not in the same niche on YouTube. So he has no way to know that in my videos, especially my video essays, I use a particular issue as an opportunity to teach my audience about concepts they may not have known about. So in this video, I explained the origins of the claim Zach made and why it was bad science. And because it's bad science, that we shouldn't be parroting it as if it's a fact. Because if you're parroting bad science as a fact, you're pushing a narrative. And if you're pushing a narrative while claiming others are pushing a narrative, you're committing the sin of irony.
Facts. And again, That's why I love going over Birdman's videos, because it is rooted in facts, is rooted in he takes the time out not to push a narrative, but to teach. And I love it. I love it. I love education. I love learning. I love going back and making sure, oh, is he saying this right? It's on point. Can't knock it. Bees World, thank you so very much for the 1999 super chat. Be the Wizard, I'm sorry. Be the Wizard. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Greetings to everyone. No, greetings to you. Thank you so very much for the super chat. Let me go ahead and hook you up because, man, that's a big blessing. I really appreciate it. Let's freaking go. Hold on. Where I got? Let's go.
You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
You wanna be my enemy.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Like I said, when you watch these people debate, the easiest way to see somebody get flustered is they try to come, for one, if they cut someone off, become snarky and not bring out any factual information. It's just feeling. Facts over feelings any day. Because when you're in a debate, it's about the facts. F your feelings. This is about facts.
It's trying to push the false narrative that every culture and every group of people has an identical IQ. This is not true. Everybody knows this isn't true. You take 3 seconds and you look at the world and you know it isn't true.
This is why I placed the clip of Piers and Mehdi Hassan in this video, so that you all have the context, because we all just heard Asmongold lie, right? In what part of the clip that I showed or didn't show did Mehdi Hassan suggest that every culture has an identical IQ?
That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, the sign is on the screen, Zach. You can reply now. And I think you don't actually have an answer, because that didn't happen. So what you're going to do is ramble about something I didn't ask. Answer my question. Where did Mehdi Hassan say that in the clip? Oh, he didn't?
Facts.
Right. So in reality, your framing of this issue is something you've made up because you're culture warring here and wanted to parrot a long discredited talking point.
Facts.
Well, not only is this Asmongold's attempt to push a narrative, but the claim itself that African people have low IQs is also an attempt to push a narrative.
Yeah.
That number typically traces back to the world.
There's also a lot of other components to why people have low IQ, and it's not necessarily race. I'm sure that race is a component, but I would say it's probably like a 4th or 5th level component.
I'm gonna go back because I know Birdman caught that. Race is not a component to IQ. Let me hold up. This is just something that can be easily debunked. I hate when oops, hold on. Jeez, come on. There we go. Just something as simple as this. This is why this is why you legitimately have to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, please use your listening ears when you hear stuff like this. Because a simple even AI, no, race is not scientifically equated to IQ. Race plays no factor in your intelligence. If that's the fact, then Africa is the smartest country in the world. Why is Africa the smartest country in the world? Because y'all keep stealing from it. All the resources and all of that comes into Africa, the Europeans have tried to plunge and plunder and steal from the people and steal the people. Yes, and steal the people that live there. Why? If we're so low intelligent, we're so this and we're so that, why do you keep taking from us? Why do you keep taking from the people? Why did you take the people? If the people wasn't building all of this and scientists and creators, and why do you take from us? If we're so low IQ, why would you want a bunch of low IQ people, to build any type of civilization if those people are just so low IQ? Like, this got to be one of the most ridiculous statements I have ever heard in my entire life. Ridiculous. And this dude said it with his whole damn chest. Let me play it. Let me bring this back on screen. Let me to say race even has a component to this is borderline idiotic.
Well, not only is this Asmongold's attempt to push a narrative, but
yes,
the claim itself that African people have low IQs is also an attempt to push a narrative.
Yes.
That number typically traces back to the world.
There's also a lot of other components to why people have low IQ, and it's not necessarily race. I'm sure that race is a component, but I would say it's probably like a 4th or 5th level component.
On this point, you and I half agree. First of all, race as a biological concept is not a real thing.
Facts. Facts. Facts, 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 facts. Oh, it's upstairs. I legitimately have, no, I have the ebook, but I legitimately have a book that is called The Invention of Race. Race is literally, it was invented in the 1800s. You know what I mean? It was legitimately created in the 1800s. It's not a real thing. It's not. Oh, God.
I paused to let you cope for a second. I know that's what you want to believe, Zach, but I'm sorry, the scientific consensus simply disagrees with you. The American Association of Biological
60 grid, what are you
Anthropologists
talking
clearly
about?
state
Who
that
is this?
race does not provide...
Hold up. Who is this 60 grid? Who is this 60 grid? Who's over on the mobile side? Hey, what is he? What are you talking about? Blaming Whitey? Shut your ass up. Hey, you gonna come in here and troll? You gonna get your ass up out of here? I'm telling you that now. We don't play that over here. This is Wakanda. We don't have to open up our borders to you, you jackass.
Accurate representation of human biological variation. They go on to state that the Western concept of race must be understood as a classification system that emerged from and in support of European colonialism, oppression, and discrimination. It thus does not have its roots in biological reality, but in policies of discrimination.
There it is.
So in that respect, race is real, but only in the sociological sense, or how we treat each other, i.e., racism.
Yes.
Where we agree is that genetics can play a factor in one's ability or capacity to learn. For example, someone born with Down syndrome potentially has a more difficult time than someone who does not. But as stated, there is no broadly accepted scientific evidence that any socially defined human group is genetically predisposed to having a lower ability to learn than any other. And I challenge you to provide evidence to the contrary. You can't, and I know you can't. So you'll just cope and say that they won't allow it to be studied.
And again, you see these jackasses on here that will legitimately defend racist ideology and not pull any other nothing. They won't pull any other information out. They won't pull any information to show their audience the contrary. Even if it's bull crap, they won't even pull it up.
Like a flat earther.
So the big reason is you got the big three, right? Two of them are like kind of harder to say, and the last one is like a little bit hard. It's a little bit more obvious. Inbreeding is number one. Do you think that inbreeding is going to lower people's IQ or not? Do you think that a society full of people that are inbreeding are going to have low IQs? Is it going to fuck up people's brains? Absolutely it is.
Well, fortunately, we have a study for that. In 2018, Johnson, Evans, and Keller published a study analyzing homozygosity in 400,000
Stop going against
people.
the Birdman.
In case that's too big a word for you, Zach, homozygosity simply means inheriting two identical alleles for a gene. Inbreeding increases the probability of homozygosity or autozygosity, which can increase the expression of harmful recessive disorders. Anyway, in this study, they found a small negative association between genome-wide homozygosity and fluid intelligence, or our ability to reason through novel problems, which is a major component of IQ testing. However, when controlling for socioeconomic variables such as education and income, the strength of that association weakened substantially. In other words, once they accounted for things like education, income, and social environment, the link between genome-wide homozygosity and lower fluid intelligence mostly shrank. This aligns with the broader point that one's environment plays the biggest role in determining the outcome of an IQ test. Science.
I mean, killing. I put this on everything I love. That's why I love Birdman be killing him. You can't. Dude, stop going against Batman. He's literally. He should literally change the name from the Birdman to Batman, because I've never seen someone study someone and destroy them scientifically. Scientifically, I can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that. It's make sure, hey, Miss Roberta, make sure you're feeling better, okay? Make sure you are feeling better.
They already thought of that. As an aside, I've noticed that when I'm reading off the results of a study, Asmongold likes to do this thing where when he hears a study disagreeing with him, he'll either pretend that it's agreeing with him, or he'll commit a red herring or a non sequitur. It's quite embarrassing, actually. You'll see him try this when I read off a study showing the numbers he posted in his tweet were too low. So what I'm expecting here is him, instead of accepting that inbreeding isn't as detrimental to one's IQ as he's stating, he'll instead instruct his moronic audience to say that I, the Birdman, am advocating for inbreeding. It's very predictable and a sign of someone having lost the debate but being too much of a bitch to admit that he was wrong.
You also have the amount of nutrition. You have food. So if you take people that are inbred, that have no food, you are going to have people that have extremely low IQs.
Is he trying to say Somalis are inbred people that have no food, and that's the reason why they have low IQs? Is that what he's saying? Because that's what it sounds like he's trying to say. Hold on. Hold on. Just for the sake of argument, I want to do something. I just want to do something real quick, because I'm sick and tired of hearing this stuff. But these are Somali people. I'm in, y'all, if y'all know that I'm in Kansas City. There's a large Somali population here. You know what I mean? So I've met all kind of different Somalis. They didn't look like they were inbred, and they damn sure don't look like they were just malnutrition and all of that. You know what I mean? These are Somali people. Let me just give you, this is just a brief history of Somali people. Just a brief history.
Here is a brief history of the origins of the Somali people. The origin of the Somali people, which were previously theorized to have been from southern Ethiopia since 1000 BC or from the Arabian Peninsula in the 11th century, has now been overturned by newer archaeological and linguistic studies, which puts the original homeland of the Somali people in Somaliland, which concludes that the Somalis are the indigenous inhabitants of the...
Yeah, this woman looks malnutrition and she looks inbred. This sister right here. Let me back it up just a little bit so you get the full context. Yeah, this sister right here looks like she's been inbred and she's malnutrition. What is this dude talking about?
Inhabitants of the Horn of Africa for the last 7,000 years. The Somali people are an ethnic group native to the Horn of Africa who share a common ancestry, culture, and history. They speak Somali, a Cushitic language, and are predominantly Sunni Muslim. According to most scholars, the ancient land of Punt and its native inhabitants formed part of the ethnogenesis of the Somali people. This ancient historical kingdom is where a great portion of their cultural traditions and ancestry are said to derive from. In the 14th century, many Somalis converted to Islam by Arabs from across the Red Sea and began their expansion southward from the arid steppes to their present borders. Here is a brief...
Dark Wolf, I I could get what you're saying. Here's my counter. Here's my counter to that, because I understand your thought process, but anytime a racist white man is going against anybody that's black, I don't give a damn where they from. This is just me. I don't give a damn where they're from. What you're not going to do is use racist ideological talking points to down any black people. I'm not looking for them to defend me. No, I'm not. But we be damned to be, to be putting this racy ideological thought process out there, and we're gonna you just gonna walk it with your whole chest and say that it's law. No, but that's not what we gonna do. That's not what we gonna do. I'm not gonna do it. So if this is the conversation, if this is not the conversation for you, I get it. But I'm not gonna sit up here and let no racist white man, push their ideological talking points without, a response. Put it more like that.
This is just obvious. And the problem is that some people want to pretend like this isn't the case, but it's very evident that it is, because your brain isn't getting the nutrients that it needs. Now, I think that, again, if you really even
this ain't the conversation,
assign all of that and you remove all of that, very clearly they're probably...
Hey, I'm not Dark Wolf. I'm going to tell you like this. I've never met a Somali here that hated me. I've never met a Somali people that hated me. Now, you might have experienced that in your lifetime, and I can't tell you what you experienced in your lifetime, but for me, I've never met a Somali that came to me and hated me for anything. My personal experience. But what I'm not going to do is sit up there and let a racist white man talk about black people like this. But then be damned for where they come from. I damn that. Nope, not going to do it.
Are some degree of racial differences, but the main factors are inbreeding and nutrition. That's a massive fucking factor.
You're nullifying your own argument here, Zach. For those that are unaware, Asmongold doesn't want Somali immigrants in the United States. His reasoning is, among other things, they are low IQ. But he's contradicting his own argument here by admitting their environment plays a part. If Somali people immigrated to the United States, they would then have the environmental factors that we both agree would raise one's IQ scores, meaning his argument about IQ is not only a massive deflection, it's also an internal contradiction. Everyone who knows anything about IQ understands that IQ is not static, even Zach here. Otherwise, there is no point in him talking about their environment.
There's also a lot of other components to why people have low IQ, and it's not necessarily race. I'm sure that race is a component, but I would say it's probably like a 4th or 5th level component. You also have the amount of nutrition. You have food.
So he's acknowledged a causal factor, but is actively attempting to block the mechanism that would change the outcome.
Facts.
And also, if you look at the way that people from Somalia have integrated into British culture, how they've integrated into American culture, how they've come from, let's say, Japan, you will see one common variable every single time. It's that these people are total drains on the society. They are massively problematic.
Are you really serious? Are you really serious? This is why I'm be here for a while. This is why I'm going to be here for a while. I hope y'all brought y'all popcorn. I hope you're just going to be here for a while. This is just based on the 2019 FBI data. 69% of the total U.S. arrests. Now, this is just arrests, not convictions. Let me put this out there. Arrest, not convictions. Say that one more time so people can understand that. Arrest, not convictions. All right. So while white individuals were arrested more for violent crimes, total black individuals were overrepresented in arrests for violent crimes related to their 13% of the U.S. population. These people are arrested more for more violent crimes than black individuals, which would include Somalis, because when Somalis come over here, unlike Egyptians, they're not included in white. They will be included as black in other, but they're going to fall under the black category, right? But still, more violent crimes, more again, murder arrests. But remember, there is also a statistic that say even overturned convictions are 70% more in favor of black people or of blacks in this country than it is of whites, because we're over policed. You know what I'm saying? We're over policed, and then when it comes to the actual crimes itself, we actually have the biggest overturn rate of those. But if you listen to him, you will say, "Oh well, it's just black people. These black people that come over here, they're just this, they're just that." You never hear them talking about white individuals that come out and do mass murders and shootings and all of that. Let's do convictions. So convictions in the U.S. show a significant racial disparity, with black Americans incarcerated nearly 5 times the rate of white Americans, even though white Americans in this country are arrested more for violent crimes than their black counterparts. So you can technically show with data and statistics that black people in this country are over policed and met with harsher convictions than their white counterpart. And then black people are 7 more likely to be wrongfully committed of murder than their white counterpart. Even though white people are arrested for more violent crimes than black people. You would never hear these people talk about this, and they have the nerves. This guy legitimately has the nerves to talk about black people in this country, black Somalis. All it is immigration politics. Far right wing, goofy ass ideological politics when it comes to race in this country. You're never going to talk about the Belgians or any other white people that come over here and they commit crimes. You're not going to talk about that. You're not going to talk about the Germans or Russians, you know what I'm saying, the Ukrainians or whoever that come over here and commit crimes. What they're going to talk about, they always try to talk about these talking points for people from dark countries. Point blank, period. They could never answer the real questions. Why do white people commit that many crimes, and why are black people over policed? Data, facts, and statistics prove this. These talking points make me sick, and that we still got an hour of this video to go.
They're scamming. They steal things. They do not integrate. And at the end of the day, they are a negative for the societies that they come to.
Oh, I was waiting for Zach to substantiate that claim with any kind of evidence, but I guess that ain't coming. I guess we'll have to do the hand-holding that his audience usually has to do for him. Zach mentioned 3 societies where Somali people have integrated: British, American, and Japanese. He claims that Somali people have been a drain on these societies and that they are a negative. These are nebulous words with no real meaning, because he could be talking about a number of different things, and should we pin him down on one thing, he'll commit the Mott and Bailey fallacy, which he'll probably do while streaming his reaction to this video. But let's try anyway and see which corner he paints himself into next. Let's talk about our home country first. The the United States.
Yeah.
There are about 260,000 people of Somali heritage in the United States, 32% of whom are concentrated in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area,
Yes, it's
the largest
large.
enclave of Somali people in the country.
Yes.
58% of that population in Minnesota are American-born citizens, meaning they are due the rights and privileges of anyone
Yes.
born in this country according to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. The Somali population has an estimated $8 billion positive economic impact while paying $67 million in state and local taxes annually. Remember, the Somali population in Minnesota is only about 100,000 people, and 42% are minors. That leaves an adult population of roughly 58,000 people. Yet this relatively small community is tied to an estimated $8 billion in economic activity across Minnesota. But in Asmongold's Looney Tune-ass world, that's a drain. Okay, but what about welfare? There's a talking point floating around that 81% of Somali households are on welfare. This is misleading. The correct statistic is that 81% of Somali households have used at least one public assistance program, most commonly healthcare or food support. What's also left out is that Somali migration to the United States has
and not to cut him off, but I just brought up the fact of how people use these talking points, but don't bring up how black people just in this country, no matter, because again, American born Somalis will be considered in this country black Americans or African American of Somali descent, right? But why isn't Asmongold talking about the over policing, the over incarceration? Why do we file the most appeals and get the most overturn rates in the criminal justice system? Why isn't that a conversation? No, it doesn't fit the narrative of racism.
Largely been refugee migration, not economic immigration. Refugees arrive with few resources after fleeing war, so the type of welfare they utilize is temporary public assistance as part of the United States Refugee Resettlement Policy.
Yes.
See? It's right here. But what is the cost of that welfare, I'm hearing you ask? Well, we have that information too, directly from the ASPE, and I quote, refugees and asylees contributed more revenue than they cost in expenditures to the government. Oh, the sign is on the screen, Zach. You can interject with your bullshit cope now, but I'm very curious what you're going to say. My guess is this data that directly comes from the United States government is biased somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because since the government began analyzing fiscal impacts by immigration status, the data has consistently shown that immigrants and their descendants contribute more in taxes over the long term than they receive in public benefits. Economic estimates place their net fiscal contribution at over $14 trillion, meaning immigration has significantly strengthened the U.S. tax base rather than draining it. When it comes to the United States, you are wrong. Now let's talk about the UK. There are even less Somali people in the UK than there are in the United States, accounting for 1/3% of the resident population. The overwhelming majority of British Somali people speak English as their first language, with over 74% of those who don't speak English as a first language stating they spoke English well, demonstrating that the majority of Somali people are integrating into British society, at least based off their language skills. 66% of British Somalis report having good health and seeing natural decline as one ages, which is expected for all human populations. British Somalis are less likely to be employed compared to the rest of the population due to a couple of factors as outlined by this same census report. Higher unemployment among Somalis in the UK mostly comes down to the fact that many arrived as refugees after Somalia's civil war in the 90s, not economic migrants.
He is talking about pop, 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 pop. I mean, my man is just, oh, wow.
A lot of first-generation arrivals had disrupted schooling, limited English, or job credentials that didn't transfer to the UK. On top of that, the population itself is very young, meaning a large chunk of that are still in school or just entering the workforce. As those barriers fade and the second generation grows up with UK education and language skills, employment rates tend to improve, something that's pretty common with all refugee communities. All of this data suggests that Somalis are a relatively normal immigrant population that doesn't produce an inherent drain on their host country simply due to them being Somali. Just like in the United States, they contribute positively overall to the economic framework of the country, and we have examples of the Somali population revitalizing neglected commercial areas in cities like Birmingham and Cardiff. Looks like you're 0 for 2 there, Zach, but I'm sure Japan will surely save your argument, right? Here is a map of the global distribution of the Somali diaspora by country. You might notice that Japan is gray. Well, this is because there are fewer than 500 Somali individuals in Japan, with the best estimates we have ranging from about 100 to 300 individuals, most of whom are students. In a country whose 124 million population is 98% homogenous, I'm sure the 300 Somalis in Japan are total drains on the economy.
Bourbon, I can't stand you. That's why I said you gotta watch when you go against a think tank. These dudes cannot stand a think tank, bro. I'm trying to tell y'all. That's why I love reacting to these videos.
I'm sorry. I tend to laugh at really fucking stupid bullshit. It's an allergy that I have. Asmongold fans, ask yourself why Zach just made a claim for which there is literally zero evidence. I urge any of you to type this into Google, asking it, what is the population number for Somalis in Japan? And you'll see something like this pop up, where there exists literally no census data on Somalis in Japan. So, dear Asmongold viewer, how in the fuck did Zach know Somalis are an economic drain in Japan when not even Japan knows that information? Sounds like someone is pushing a narrative.
Thank you. That's all we kept saying, is that a lot of these dudes cannot stop pushing the narrative. No significant information, just narrative pushing. We're seeing it right now. We're seeing it in real time right now. Just a narrative push. No significant information to back up what you're talking about. None of that. Narrative. And yeah.
So why would you bring in all these people that have such a high rate of there being a negative outcome? Why would you ever do that? It's stupid.
It sounds like Zach is describing Westerners visiting Japan, doesn't it? Anyway, this is an appeal to emotion, a logical fallacy, and he's doing this because he doesn't have empirical data to support his conclusions. He's tying in multiple different concepts to scare you into objecting to immigration. He even brings up female genital mutilation.
Do you want to know what the percentage of women who are victims of female genital mutilation are in Somalia? 99%. I'm not kidding.
See, he did say that. The problem with his claims is that we have a control group already in the United States, the Somali American population. First of all, Somali immigrants overall are incarcerated less than native-born Americans, period. And while we're on the topic of Somali females, Zach's claim about female genital mutilation is true, but again, he's forgetting we have a control group that refutes his conclusion. This is a study highlighting the fact that upon immigrating to a new host country where the practice is frowned upon and or illegal, migrants change their attitudes on female genital mutilation. And yes, the study refers specifically to Somalis in Western countries, stating plainly that the overwhelming majority of Somali immigrants become opponents of the practice. Sounds like integration, don't it? This is once again an example of Zach acknowledging a causal factor, but actively attempting to block the mechanism that would change the behavior. This is a form of concern trolling, where Zach doesn't give a fuck about female genital mutilation, but pretends he does so that he can use this as a reason to block immigration, while simultaneously not realizing that immigration would actually save women from this practice. Any other half-truth you want to scare us with, Zach? Because I got time today.
This is literally all he's doing is pushing immigration laws and telling you why he want to keep black people out. That's it. That's all. That's all. That's the end of the conversation, honestly. And idiots like this is pushing all kinds of narratives, but where's the white people that come in and commit crimes? You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the Charlie Kirk conversations. Black people do this. Black people do that. Black people do this. And if I seen a black woman that was a pilot, I will be concerned because, well, where's your credentials? Like, we don't go through the same training, the same things that everybody else does. White person, I feel comfortable. White person flying to the water or flying to the river. Oh man, something happens. The black people save people. Oh man, I wonder, is he a DEI hire? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Because you're refuse to The refusal to put the mirror to your own people is the problem.
If you look up the World Health Organization, and they have a study on
he's about to hit him.
99% of women in Somalia are victims of female genital mutilation. I don't want to import that culture into my country.
What are you talking about?
I don't want to take the risk that I'm importing that culture into my country.
The culture, hold on, because we're about to start talking about culture. Just talk about culture, right? We're talking about culture. He doesn't want to integrate that type of culture in his system. This is a graft. The number of mass shooters in the United States from 1982 to March 2026 by shooters of race and ethnicity. Guess who's number one in the group? Not Somalis. This is mass shootings in America. But we're talking about mutilation? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I don't want mass shootings to happen in this country. But because of the culture in this country, they can't help themselves. Unless black people take up arms. I fully am for the right to bear arms in this country, especially if you black. Go get your legal firearm if you're black in this country. Go get one, because I guarantee you they start changing the laws then when we all get strapped up. Because it happened with the Black Panther Party. See, remember the Black Panther Party when they exercised their right to bear arms in a right to carry state, and how the NRA did not back the Black Panther Party up, and how they tried to change laws and stuff like that? Yeah. But we're talking about culture. You're talking about, I don't want mutilation of women in this culture or whatever. Matter of fact, I got one. I got another one. Hold on. Because I want to bring this. So we're talking about women. We're so concerned about what's going on with women, especially. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to find this information. Because since we're so concerned about the women in this country, which I get, I understand. You know what I mean? But we're going to talk about SA just for a little bit, because that affects a lot of, women in this country. Indicates in the United States, most offenders are male, with studies showing very racial breakdowns, roughly 51 to 57% white, 16 to 17% black. According to this study, according to this overview, right? Because we got the cases here, but just this quick AI overview of this, it's saying that white males are twice as likely to essay in this country than their black counterpart, because they just use black and white. So if he's so concerned about the women in this country, then he most definitely should be scolding the people who are committing the most SA in this country, because he's very concerned about what's going on, because he doesn't want that, that type of culture to come in this country. You see how we can play the game? You see how we can legitimately easily play the game? They don't want to play the game. Because we start playing a game, then you have to look at your brothers and sisters in the white community and say, hey, why are we treating our women like this? Why are we the leading cause of SA in this country? Of grape and SA in this country? Why are we the leading cause? We need to fight against that. That doesn't push the narrative when you start talking about immigration and black people being in this country that come from other countries and stuff like that. While we're fighting amongst each other, we need to be able to look and point the finger of who's doing everything in this country if you start talking about culture. Just saying, this is easy. This is light work. But since this is light work, let me take a quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show.
Knight Rider will continue in a moment.
Them biscuits I smell, Mom.
That's my Hungry Jack.
Tommy takes one of them. Them my mama biscuits. Them my mama biscuits.
Switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Does a 10-pound bag of flour make a really big biscuit?
All right. Again, we can play this game. We can play this game. Let's keep going. Exactly, Erica D. Exactly, Tina.
At all.
This guy, a literal self-described scientific racist.
What does that have to do with whether it's right or not? You're calling somebody a word. What does that have to do with this?
You see, Zach, you're watching a video essay where I, the essayist, present a thesis or multiple theses and then support that thesis with, hopefully, a bevy of evidence. One of the theses of this video was that this claim that you are spreading is a racist claim. In order to prove that, I explained the origins of that claim, that being purposefully bad data collection from a self-proclaimed racist whose goal was to show that black people are inferior to white people.
Thank you.
There exists no nationally representative study performed on the IQ of Somali people in Somalia. Lynn's data was extrapolated from neighboring regions, notably from refugee children in a camp in Kenya, and then he randomly decided to use that data for other unrelated countries because to him, the thousands of ethnic groups in Africa are all the same.
Fact.
Malnourished children in refugee camps. So the tweet you made is a number that doesn't exist because they never tested Somalis in Somalia, you dolt. Because you are pausing the video before I can finish my thought, all you heard was your trigger word, and that caused you to completely miss the point.
Fact.
What's funny about this is you're a fucking hypocrite. You literally do exactly what you just attempted to criticize me for later in this stream, where you show me arguing with racists on Twitter and stupidly conclude that I'm racist against white people.
He complains about racism, and he makes videos, negative videos about Charlie Kirk. And then he goes on Twitter and he's just profoundly racist towards white people. And he crashes out and complains about them.
Think about that for a second. I'm arguing against racism, and your conclusion was that I hate white people. Sounds like you think all white people are racist, Zach. This man was part of a secret eugenics conference where, and I'm not joking, there were people favorably arguing in favor of pedophilia. So
that's obviously bad, but you know what's even worse is probably the fact that pedophilia is normalized over in Somalia.
What?
If you're gonna,
but again, I show the data, or just a brief overview, an AI overview, because there's plenty of data to support this claim that white males or more like or get convicted the most when it comes to SA and grape in this country. Oops. But yet he has no smoke for that. Do you see how that works? I have no smoke for that, but this is the argument that he's trying to make. Like the narrative I'm talking about, I'm gonna keep taking my goalposts and moving it all the way out. I'm gonna move it out in the outside of the stadium in the parking lot. You try to kick a field goal out there while you're in the stadium. I'm gonna put the field goal outside of the stadium. You idiot!
Act like that's bad. Why don't you look at what they're doing?
What about
whenever they're getting married?
Zach is overreaching with this claim. Somalia doesn't normalize PDF files. What he's trying but failing to articulate is that Somalia has a child marriage problem. These are two distinct concepts because in this context, the child marriage that occurs in Somalia is largely between older teenagers and someone in their early 20s. Granted, I don't condone this practice, but marriage in Somalia is often arranged by the two families. So that is not a case of someone being attracted to a prepubescent, but a society following very old customs based around marriage after one has gone through puberty. This is the same logic that 34 states in the United States currently follow. I mean, the state Asmongold is from is the 10th ranked state in child marriage.
Hey, it's funny because I just watched a video of Dr. Umar saying the same exact thing. The same exact thing. And what is the Epstein? Y'all, who said that? Erica D. What is the Epstein files about again? What is the Epstein files about again? They don't care. These people do not care about young people. They do not care about young women. They do not care about women in general. All of this talk, all it is, when it comes to black people, I could push a narrative. But y'all don't have that same smoke for the PDF files and all of this. They're sitting around in the White House right now. They're sitting around in Congress right now. They're sitting around in the House and the Senate and the state. Y'all don't have no smoke for that. You don't have no smoke for that. You don't have no smoke for child marriage laws because then you will be attacking the United States and what they do. But you have so much to say about what's going on in somebody else's country. You don't give a flop. All you care about is pushing a old racist ideological narrative. That's it. That is it. Oh, that's dope, Aaron Evans. I appreciate that. But that's all it is. That's all it is. Don't care about these people. Don't care about women. This is the same arguments that people were talking about when it came to abortion in America. I'm like, y'all don't care. I'm trying to tell you, those right-wingers do not care about that. What they care about is the birth dearth. And let me explain to you. When Jay Elliott talks about the study of the birth dearth, it's a book that literally maps out how white people are going to be the minority in this country by 2050. They didn't care about, oh, we care about women's rights and women shouldn't be committing, whatever they want with their bodies. No, they care about keeping supremacy as long as they can. And since the baby boomers or this new generation is not creating more kids like they should in the white population, that's the reason why they were going so hard at abortion laws. They didn't care nothing about these women and their bodies. They didn't care nothing about his Christian values. Oh, it is? It is. How about you guys are going to be the minority by 2050, so you got to get the birth rates up. You got 24 years, buddy. You got 24 more years to see if this comes into fruition. These right-wingers do not care about nothing but their own personal gain and to keep supremacy in this country as long as they possibly can. That's it. Point blank, period.
Nearly 40,000 child marriages registered in a 15-year span. But I digress. I'm certain PDF files do occur in Somalia, as they do in literally every society on Earth. But Zach is hoping you all won't know the difference between these two concepts.
Exactly,
because once again, his goal is to push a narrative. It's also not even a refutation. I stated in my video that Lynn was a part of a secret society where members attempted to normalize child sexual abuse, further demonstrating that Lynn is not a source you want to be citing, as his discernment is clearly questionable. We are not talking about underage marriage that might have been arranged due to certain cultural customs. We are talking about old men in a Western country actively wanting to sodomize children while they were sleeping. So nice try, but failed whataboutism. Yeah, this is the guy Asmongold is quoting. Lynn published a paper in 1982 called IQ in Africa in the pseudoscientific journal The Mankind Quarterly, a white supremacist outlet that is currently...
See, he's trying to poison the well by saying that things are pseudoscientific, saying they're white supremacist, etc. You're not actually attacking the argument. You're not actually attacking anything that's being said.
And you're not actually listening to the argument. First of all, you literally have the video paused where it clearly states the journal is pseudoscientific. Your attempt at claiming I'm poisoning the well because I'm literally communicating what the literature says is only convincing no one. Second, this is a video essay where one of the theses is that the person whose claim you're using is not doing actual science. Specifically mentioning that he published his findings in a pseudoscientific journal tells you everything you need to know. There's a reason Lynn couldn't survive peer review and had to publish in fringe publications. He was widely discredited on this topic. Again, because this is a video essay, I'm going to later support my claims, which I did by showing a study by Wichards debunking Lynn's claims. This is pseudoscience. This is why he published in a pseudoscientific journal. Real science survives scrutiny and has results that are replicable. Pseudoscience has to hide because it's bullshit. You are repeating bullshit.
So he's killing this.
You're assigning negative variables and negative attributes to it, and then hoping that people, because of those negative variables and attributes that you're assigning to it, will assume that it's wrong because they're not supposed to agree with things that have these attributes. That's what he's doing.
What?
It's dishonest.
You mean things that the scientific community has rejected? Yes.
Like, that doesn't... again... When all you can do is push a narrative, you'll find, I'm talking about, you would dance around everything. It literally says it's in the literature. That it's like you cannot make this stuff up. Thank you, Miss Roberta, for the $15 super chat. Thank you. Channel support, excellent show. Thank you. Because again, I hate people that push narratives. Let's go. I know what you want. Miss Roberta, a little body roll. Super chat, body roll. Because that's what he's doing. He is literally Marlon Jackson body rolling himself and just to oblivion because he's an idiot. And he wants to push literally the narrative.
I do expect the audience to default to the experts on a topic, listen to what the experts say, and understand what a scientific consensus is. If all of the scientific community has rejected this claim, what exactly do you expect me to do here? Are you arguing that we should listen to flat earthers just because they've made a claim? People have already done this work, and the person you're quoting has been debunked and discredited already. But I do understand what you're trying to do here, Asmongold. People have labeled you all manner of unsavory things, and you're attempting to refute those claims against you by using me and my video as a proxy. You know, the old, you called me racist, but am I wrong? Technique that only works on extremely stupid people. Again, this is literally something you do to me later in this stream. Maintained by the hilariously named Human Diversity Foundation.
Because there's diversity between humans. That's correct.
What the fuck was that? What are these weird tics you have where you just say random things? You didn't refute anything, nor did you clarify why their name isn't ironic, which is what I was pointing out. You know you can just shut the fuck up and let the video play, right? Far-right white nationalist company.
Again, like none of this has anything to do with whether this is a good or an accurate thing at all.
It does.
I am making the case that these false talking points are being spread specifically due to racism, and Asmongold doesn't think it's relevant that the people spreading them are openly racist. You can't make this shit
really
up.
Can't.
And again, I want to take a step back. It's environmental, it's educational. There is also the factor of inbreeding, which is massive. All of these things have nothing to do with race. And
oh, thank you, Erica D, for the $9.99 super chat. You guys are being very generous. I appreciate you. I'm with you, Roberta. Great show. Thank you so very much. Because we got to go after it. We get this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous that we even have to go here. But you know what's more ridiculous? The people that look like me that repeat this butter biscuit baker activity.
You are truly amazing. Thank you for
Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Good biscuits. All right, let's keep going.
They're still all factors for IQ. So what's happening is that you just have a person who's throwing a bunch of buzzwords at it
That
to
was
hopefully
buzzwords.
get people to disagree with what's being said.
Irony, which is one of the points I was making in the video. So double irony.
You're trying to shut down conversation, and you have to keep in mind, let's go back and talk about that eugenics conference that was banned. The reason why these things are banned is because research into this topic isn't allowed.
Asmongold is lying to you. Contrary to popular belief, there isn't an overarching body controlling scientists. Literally anyone can conduct a study into these topics. I mean, we are literally discussing a person that did. The problem is these claims don't stand up to peer review. Third-party scrutiny is a core tenet of the scientific method. You conduct your study and then submit it for other scientists to attempt to replicate your work. If they can, it gets published and becomes a part of the scientific consensus. If they can't, they explain why they can't replicate those results, and it doesn't get accepted into the scientific consensus. People like Asmongold who preach fringe pseudoscience think that other scientists debunking these claims is akin to not being allowed to conduct these studies. It's just not true. Either Zach knows this and is lying to his audience to push a narrative, or he doesn't and should probably stop publicly embarrassing himself on a topic of which he's completely ignorant.
That's what he's doing. It's dishonest.
Oh,
you have to keep in mind that the father that invented DNA, or not invented, excuse me, discovered DNA, was effectively had his entire career destroyed because he said that there's a chance that there could be a racial basis for where IQ is coming from.
As if we needed any more, this is proof that Asmongold doesn't have a clue what he's talking about.
He's just saying
the person that discovered DNA was Friedrich Miescher, a man who said literally nothing about IQ tests because he died 10 years before the very first IQ tests were developed. It's infinitely hilarious to me that people actually thought Asmongold won this interaction with me, because that means they're stupider than he is. Zach is talking about James Watson, one of a couple of scientists who figured out that DNA has a double helix structure, not the person who discovered DNA. Do you see how easily this man spreads misinformation? Zach,
again, you can just look this. I keep telling you, there is a pattern every time we do these videos. Nobody brings up actual evidence. The person who brings the evidence is the person they're trying to call out. That's the irony. The person who or the Birdman who constantly brings up information after information after information, so he doesn't, for one, misquote himself, or two, you know what I'm saying, be able to accurately debunk what is going on. That's the person they attack. These are the people who come into the comment section, who come into the chat and try to fight against what is actually being said with evidence. And there's no evidence that you can legitimately be like, wait, here's the other evidence right here. Here's the backup evidence right here. To be able to debunk what you said, here's the debate evidence here. They don't do that. It's too, I mean, this is literally, for the Birdman, this is just a Tuesday.
Also claims that Watson's claims about IQ derailed his career. Watson made his remarks in 2007 when he was 79 years old after a 40-year career. He himself stated his retirement was overdue and attributed to his old age. But Asmongold would have you believe that this man lost his career because of his racist claims, but he's leaving out he's talking about an 80-year-old man who had done basically everything he was ever going to do. He's also leaving out that Watson was a flaming bigot that said things like there should be fewer women in science, disparaged his female colleague Rosalind Franklin, who was as integral to understanding DNA as he was, and made numerous racist remarks. Isn't it funny that every person Asmongold promotes or quotes is among the worst people you've ever heard of?
And so the reason why there isn't a lot of research or information in this is because there is a wrong answer. And it's basically politicized science that has been effectively co-opted by activists that will not let people have a conversation about this topic at all. That's the reason what's going on.
Q of sub-Saharan Africa.
The guy's a critical drinker, generational hater. What is this? Pull this up.
So someone in Zach's chat sends him a montage of me using low IQ as an insult, which he plays all the way through. I'll fast forward to his actual reaction to this. Drinker is
well, anyway, so this is the person who's making a video of me talking about IQs. Huh. It sure seems like he cares a lot about IQ, actually.
This was the part of the live stream that confused me. What was that reaction to this montage? What was that montage supposed to even prove? You show me calling people low IQ as an insult. Okay. And? Yes, that is a thing that I do and will continue to do. Me saying you are using a debunked racist talking point has nothing to do with me using an insult. Your very argument is that Somali people being low IQ is a fact. The people I call low IQ aren't necessarily low IQ. I'm just calling them stupid. It's called figurative language. So if you're attempting to call out hypocrisy here, conflating criticism of your position with my jokes, then you're undermining your own argument claiming Somalis are factually low IQ. Unless, of course, you're going to argue that every time you call someone dumb, you're referring to them being unable to speak, which is the original meaning of that word.
Will you talk? I'm talking about this is a slaughter. This is a slaughter. I want to be the dude in Rocky. Just throw the damn towel. Jeez, this is embarrassing.
And also keep in mind, none of these were arguments. None of this was an argument at all.
I'm amazed that you can make that determination based on clips that were taken out of their context from videos you've never seen.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? This is literally the first of my videos you've ever actually watched. How the fuck do you know those weren't arguments? You watched a clip montage, silly. Their point was to show me using low IQ as an insult, likely because they are under the impression that I'm one of those people that is afraid of using bad words. Trust me, you got the wrong guy. Was around 70. Notice I said
wait, what?
Of sub-Saharan Africa was around.
He has
in this journal, Flynn argued that the IQ of sub-Saharan Africa was around 70.
Okay.
Notice I said sub-Saharan Africa. Yes, Lynn's argument was that a continent that consists of about 50 countries all had a similar very low IQ.
Okay. All of the European countries have similar IQs. All of the Asian countries have similar IQs. This tracks.
You're repeating Richard Lynn's claims again. It's true that neighboring countries in the West often show similar average test scores, but that pattern is explained by shared environmental factors like education systems, economic development, and nutrition. Lynn's claim was that those differences are genetic, and that interpretation is not supported by the evidence.
Just like that's just like if you give an IQ test to someone that, let's just say for the sake of argument, someone who lived in the country, not the full educational system that they teach, compared to someone who lives in a, let's say in a majority city in a suburb that has all these advantages of education, right? That person in that rural area, in that small school, is probably going to, if they don't have the same educational system, is probably going to have a, and this is all hypothetical because I all feel like those I sometimes I feel like some of those IQ tests are biased because it's based on what you know. You know what I'm saying? As far as what they teach, that person can have a lower IQ than the person who's in the rural area, or opposite. That person in a rural area can have a higher IQ based on what information is given to them within that same study, you know, compared to the person that's in the that's in the suburban area. It's all, to me, it's all based on what you've been taught. That's all. What you've been taught. It has nothing to do with race. It legitimately has absolutely no bearing, no nothing on race. It is not genetics. That is not a fact. We already brought that up. Okay. So genetic makeup, as far as what we talked about earlier, as far as like if you have mental capacities like Down syndrome, or some mental capacities, but your actual race has nothing to do with it. There's absolutely 1,000% nothing to do with it. Nothing. No way, no how.
Tell the class, Asmongold, what is the IQ of a North Korean peasant? They're East Asian, sandwiched between two economically impressive countries in China and South Korea, and they're genetically identical to South Koreans.
Yes.
What's their IQ?
Well, we're waiting.
In this instance, I am criticizing Lin for doing bad science, where he uses data he collected from malnourished refugee children in a camp in Kenya and other bad collection methods in places like Ethiopia to represent the thousands of ethnic groups in the 50 countries of Africa. On its face, that is an insane thing to repeat as if it's a fact. And it's incredible to me that anyone with a working brain can't see how utterly ridiculous that is. What never gets said in these discussions is that Lin excluded data that showed when Africans had higher IQ scores because it didn't fit his narrative.
Yes.
This is what racism does to you. It causes you to believe the stupidest shit imaginable simply because the hate in your heart wants it to be true.
Yeah.
Obvious problem with this argument is that
this is an average.
Is huge, and there are over 1 billion people with over 1,000 different ethnic groups. Nigeria alone has more than 200 ethnic groups, and that's a single country. Do you think Lin tested every ethnic group in Nigeria, let alone?
Do you think that one of them is going to have a higher IQ than people in China?
This is where I burst out laughing while watching this stream. That was an irrelevant question that isn't addressing the criticism and is instead running away from it, otherwise known as a red herring. Whether Nigerians potentially have a higher IQ than Chinese people is irrelevant to the fact that Lin's collection of data and subsequent IQ classifications was faulty. You can at least try to keep up with what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck about your question. It was a non sequitur and a straw man. You got 3 logical fallacies with a single question. Very impressive.
Like, really, it's just so that it's just like you think about this for 3 seconds and you immediately realize that it's
Oh, we definitely agree. And if I can make a small suggestion, Zach, perhaps it's the fact that you only think about things for 3 seconds. That's the issue.
Right.
What they found was that because African countries are developing countries, they hadn't experienced the variables that caused the Flynn effect, such as improvements to nutrition, healthcare, and even toys. In other words, the environment is the most relevant variable in determining one's IQ score.
So why would you want to bring people from the country that have a bad environment into your country?
What?
Why would you want to do that?
Hold up. Before Birdman goes, I want to do something. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to bring up another. Hold on. I'm going to mute the music just for a second. I just want to show you. I want to show you guys something. And I'm about to share my screen just real quick. Just about to show you. Just something real quick. You know what I mean? See this biscuit baker that pushes all this bull crap. I wonder what city this is. I wonder what city this is. Oh, it looks like Somalia. This is Somali city. This is a Somali city in the country of Somalia, and their city looks no different than certain places in China or Japan. You can't. Hold on. Wait a minute. Are you telling me? Hold up. Are you telling me a place that looks like this, right? Hold up. Is it? Yep. A place that looks like this. It has a bunch of low IQ people on it. A place that's thriving. Hold on. Wait a minute. Are you saying a place that is thriving with commerce and business and all the amenities that you need? This place has a bunch of low IQ people just running it. Right? They're just low IQ. Don't worry. All those low IQ people made this. I mean, tell me that doesn't look like Cuba. Tell me that doesn't look like the Dominican Republic. Tell me that doesn't look like a place, you know what I'm saying? A beautiful island somewhere. Look at the beautiful water out there. Hell, this looks a little bit like some places in Florida. But, low IQ people. You see what I mean? This is when these people cannot stop themselves. They cannot stop themselves for one moment and think about what the hell they got to say because they don't care. Pushing the narrative is better than telling the truth because you don't get 1 million subscribers when you're lying to folks.
This is one of the funniest responses to one of my videos of all time. Earlier, Asmongold admitted that one's environment plays a part in one's IQ. Literally, this means that a change in one's environment improves that person's IQ. Now he seems to be saying that one's IQ is static. Unfortunately for Zach, we have a study for that. According to a meta-analysis by Richie and Tucker Drop, IQ points can be raised by 1 to 5 points for every additional year of education, and that this effect persisted across the entire lifespan of the individual. This means those supposed low IQ African people we import will simply become smarter over time, Zach,
and if you notice, their country is still thriving. So when they come over here, it just gets better. I mean, not saying that their educational system down there is just flawed. They just get a difference of education based on Western studies. So they can be smarter when it comes to Western studies than they are when it comes to Somali studies. They're just getting a different perspective. And the more that they integrate into this country, the more that they'll be more educated on the things that go on in this country, by in turn being smarter, which in turn raises their IQ. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. And again, we just see it just is a small portion of, towns, cities, and country, a town or a city in Somalia that looks no different than any other European country, that looks no different than any other Caribbean country, that looks no different than any Asian country. That's what I'm saying. The method that we go down to try to destroy people, try to discredit people, or try to discredit people is astounding.
Directly contradicts the main justification for why you don't want them in the country.
So, I don't understand, because, if your brain isn't developed properly because, for whatever reason, environmentally or whatever else, who creates it? Well, they do. They're killing each other and cutting each other up. They've been doing this for thousands of years.
Did you see hold on? Oh, since he said that, let's just go back to the video, which I guarantee you that Birdman's probably gonna have some information on that. But let's just go here again. We have more mass shootings in this country by white men than any other person, but yet they're afraid that immigrants gonna come over here. They're gonna be chopping them up. This is the same dumbass argument when the president was like, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating everything, they're eating the dogs. That's dumb. It doesn't make sense. It is not based in any type of factual information. factual information is that these people out here are thriving. These people got cars, commutes, all of that. You cannot be a thriving society with low IQs and have you cannot have a thriving society with a low IQ. Low IQ probably to you, because I want to know what's his IQ score. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You're literally showing you cannot look how beautiful that looks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. My fault. I thought I was sharing everything. My bad. Let me go back. Because again, you cannot build this. You cannot build this if you have a low IQ. But again, they won't show you that part of Africa. They won't show you that part of Somaliland. They won't. Because they think I still remember, and I know the people that of age remember 52 cents a day. 50 cents a day can save a starving African. And now they show, a portion of Africa, a small village where people are going hungry or starving or whatever, probably based on, people coming in there and pillaging their own lands, especially a lot of the European countries who have came and invaded Africa to pillage their own land. Yeah, that wasn't good enough, though. That wasn't good enough. But they show you 52 cents a day can save a starving African. And we used to believe that because we had no other source of information to be able to show us what parts of Africa really look like. And why are those people starving? Why aren't those people getting help? Who came in there and pillaged and destroyed their lands? Exactly, Tina. Exactly. Yeah, the Sally Struthers ass. Exactly. But then they won't show you this, though. They won't show you this. Now, you're telling me this structure that's built right here is just built by low IQ people. That's why you can't fall for the propaganda with these people. That's why you cannot fall for the propaganda. These people are ridiculous when it comes to propaganda. Because again, I always go back to the Jim Crow era. If you go back, you look, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. I gotta plan this summer. I got to go. Washington D.C. I'm gonna probably just order my ticket or whatever and try to get there on a weekend. The Jim Crow Museum. Yes, it's hard to look at it. It's hard to fathom, but all of the propaganda that went against black people, they literally have a whole museum that talks about this. And all they're doing, Asmongold is doing, or Asmongold is doing, is repeating the same tired propaganda against another black ethnic group. That's it. And again, I don't know. I just know the Somali people that I knew. I ain't never got hated. I'm like, hey, man, you hate me? You know what I'm saying? You can't hate me. I'm too lovable. I'm a lovable guy. So you can hate me. You go hate me in love. You know what I mean? But again, I refuse to let narratives like this get pushed out without having another voice to it.
I mean, obviously, that's the reason why. And you can't understand their IQ is so good. They have to keep living in mud huts rather than building houses. Exactly what you said. Yeah, of course.
Before Burbank goes, you can't make this stuff up. Does that look like no? Those are beautiful mud huts. There's a beautiful mud hut. I mean, I've never seen mud huts look this great before. I'm not gonna lie. Tell me, hold on, wait a minute. Just going back, real talk. And this is real talk because that looks like a football field on the far right hand side, right over here. Tell me this doesn't look like a rural part of like North Carolina or South Carolina, or a rural part of Georgia. Like, if you look at the way the structure is, this is like any type of rural area in America. If the name wasn't at the bottom and I just took a screenshot and I said, where in America this is, you would get thousands of, you'll get probably hundreds upon hundreds of different places you could say. You probably get hundreds of places that look just like this in America. Probably hundreds of places. This doesn't look any different, but mud huts. You cannot make this stuff up. You can't. And this is the reason why I react to exposing the grift the way I do. Oh. Yeah, thank you. That's why I did the see me and Birdman be here. We be here, son. We be here, son. I know, T. I seen that. 80% of these people are on welfare, and these. You know what? I'm gonna let the Birdman have this one. No, I can't. Oh no, he already did. Why he's saying this? Why isn't he bringing up any data information to substantiate his claim? He's just again. Oh God, Lee, I thought I shared this. I'm sorry. Hold on. Sorry. I let this thing play and hold on. And y'all didn't even hear it. My fault.
That's the issue.
Listen to this.
What they found was that because African countries are developing countries, they hadn't experienced the variables that caused the Flynn effect, such as improvements to nutrition, healthcare, and even toys. In other words, the environment is the most relevant variable in determining one's IQ score.
So why would you want to bring people from the country that have a bad environment into your country?
Just listen to this.
Why would you want to do that?
This is one of the funniest responses to one of my videos of all time. Earlier, Asmongold admitted that one's environment plays a part in one's IQ. Literally, this means that a change in one's environment improves that person's IQ. Now he seems to be saying that one's IQ is static. Unfortunately for Zach, we have a study for that. According to a meta-analysis by Ritchie and Tucker Drop, IQ points can be raised by 1 to 5 points for every additional year of education, and that this effect persisted across the entire lifespan of the individual. This means those supposed low IQ African people we import will simply become smarter over time, Zach, which directly contradicts the main justification for why you don't want them in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't understand. Because
I'm trying to tell, I'm going to repeat this. I'm trying to tell you that the reason why a lot of people are against immigration is because of if you bring more brown people in here, somebody else will be the minority. That it has, you see, immigration was cool in the 1920s and 30s when a lot of European people was coming over here, Italians, you know, Grecians and different type of people, you know, from, you know, other countries, Russians, Germans, you know what I'm saying, etc. But when brown people start coming over here, all of a sudden it became a problem. And now you have these people that are trying to tell you that that the brown people are the problem. They're not looking at the actual data and statistics that tells you who the actual real problem is. And they won't bring up any information to substantiate their claim.
It's like, so if your brain isn't developed properly because, like, for whatever reason, you know, environmentally or whatever else, who creates it? Well, they do. They're killing each other and cutting each other up. They've been doing this for thousands of years. I mean, obviously, that's the reason why. And you can't understand their IQ is so good. They have to keep living in mud huts rather than building houses. Exactly. So exactly what you said. Yeah, of course.
Living in mud huts.
The thing is that it's not relevant to me whether the IQ is arrived at through racial, genetic, or environmental reasons. The only thing that matters is whether the IQ is or isn't. If you bring a bunch of people who are functionally retarded into your country, you're going to have a lot of problems. So why would you ever invite that type of chaos into your country? It doesn't matter where they're coming from. It doesn't matter why it's happening. Why would you ever do that? It's stupid.
So I let him ramble there to show that he doesn't even address the claims that are being made here. I said that environment plays the largest role in determining one's IQ score, showing evidence on the screen, and his response is to fearmonger and appeal to emotion.
Yeah.
This man has shown literally nothing to support his claims and instead elects to filibuster. I'm not interested. Let's move on.
There's a reason, like, aren't like 80% of these people on welfare in America? It's insane. And then also keep in mind that it's not just systematic, right? Or it's not just environmental, because even, like, for example, Somali American families inside of America that have been here for 10 years.
Now, mind you, he's going to ramble and not pull up nothing.
They have been in America for 10 years. They still have a much dramatically higher rate of being on welfare than, normal, like I would say, like just average, everyday Americans from the general population.
Once again, Zach is parroting misleading information. As I stated earlier, these people that he's referring to are refugees and are receiving benefits due to being refugees.
Yeah.
Comparing them to average Americans is an unfair baseline. Average Americans have families that have been here for centuries and have established wealth and capital, and he's comparing them to poverty-stricken refugees escaping war. Also, on welfare is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, as it's a nebulous term that Asmongold doesn't think he needs to define. The truth is that these households are using at least one program, not a full dependency, and even this usage declines over time. And it doesn't matter, because economists agree that immigrants contribute more in taxes than they receive in benefits over their lifetimes, and their descendants contribute even more.
That's it.
Genetics. But let's rewind for a second.
It has nothing to do whether it's genetics or not.
Take that up with Richard Lynn, the very guy you're getting your silly IQ numbers from, because he very specifically stated genetics are part of one's IQ scores. You seem to want to use Lynn's conclusions, but are running away from his reasoning.
Yep.
Mention something that you all may not be familiar with.
What is it?
The Flynn effect.
Right.
The Flynn effect is the observed rise in IQ scores over time. Basically, if you gave an average...
I think this is true. So in general, you are going to have a ceiling and a floor of IQ. Like, for example, if somebody's really, really naturally smart, if they are not well educated and they're not, basically, they don't have good, what do you call it? They don't have good, like, environment, or like they don't have good nutrition, excuse me. And for whatever reason, they don't have these options. Well, what ends up happening is that, they're not going to be as smart as they could be, but their floor is higher than somebody else's. So it's the same as anything else. There's a variation of it, but that variation doesn't go from 100 to 0. There is a natural limitation that each person has. And if you really think that you can train two random people and one of them can just randomly be Einstein just because you educate them in the right way, you're just delusional. You're obviously delusional. Every single other element of humanity is measured in this way. So, for example, there are people who are shorter because they have lower, amounts of food that they're eating. But it's not like people that have an adequate amount of food are always 7 feet tall either. There is a genetic variation, but inside of that genetic variation, there is a ceiling and a floor for each individual person.
Literally nothing of what Zach just said has anything to do with the Flynn effect. He just demonstrated that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's just talking. Literally, he's just talking. And honestly, I got to take another commercial break. I'm at the 2-hour mark. And we are about let me see. We have about 20 some odd minutes of this video left. So I'm going to take about 20 some odd minutes. So I'm going to take a commercial break. Please do not go anywhere because I gotta pop these old bones because I've been sitting in the chair. I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show. Let's check in on Stedman.
Knight Rider will return after these messages and station identification.
Stedman, he's Stedman, not just a Bruce boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay. No way, sister.
Who's that man? He's Stedman.
The Knight Rider Power Cycle with Kit on the pretend instrument panel.
Here he comes. There's something special happening at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Fresh buttermilk biscuits made from scratch. Our chicken and biscuits a perfect match.
Warm, taste so good, make you want to slap your mama for real. Man, I slap your grandma, I slap your auntie.
Good idea. Playing horsey with your little sister. Bad idea. Playing horsey with your Aunt Bertha.
Let's see who's bad, man. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's do it. I'll show you who's bad. Come on.
You wear a disguise to look like human guys, but you're not a man, you're a chicken boo.
Now the conclusion of
I hate how they talk about you. Everybody thinks you're just a freeloader. They don't know about...
They can't know. They can't ever know. If my cover's blown, we're both dead.
Do you like the car? It's for you.
What's the occasion?
I can't believe you forgot again. It's our anniversary. We've been engaged for 15 years.
You know, I'd marry you tomorrow, baby. But it wouldn't be fair. Not to you or to the free world. Well, look at you.
This is it. I can't believe it. After 15 years, we're finally going to consummate our love.
Damn. This is Stedman. It's the commissioner.
Sorry,
what? Professor Haight? He's escaped? Damn. What? The French Riviera? Now? Yes, sir. I'm on my way. Damn him! Damn that Professor Haight!
He's escaped? Again? Can't they build a prison strong enough to hold him for at least one night?
He's diabolical! I must go.
Can it wait just 1 hour? I want it so bad. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Believe me, when we finally make love, I'm gonna take my time. It's gonna take all night long. But right now, I'm gonna need some money.
How much?
Let's see. French Riviera. In the house. Wardrobe. Disguises, special weapons, laser glasses, speedboat, armored helicopter.
All I have on me is 1.3 million.
That'll have to do.
Oh, darling, what kind of life is this?
Oprah, darling, you have to be strong. There's more at stake than just you and me.
Here's something to read on the plane.
Thank you, darling.
How about a kiss?
Of course. Close your eyes.
Oh, Stedman.
All right, let's keep this going. I had to give me a Butterfinger.
Again, I guess he saw the chart on the screen and thought it was communicating a hypothetical ceiling in one's intelligence, but I do enjoy him doing my job for me. Person from 1901, a modern IQ test, they would score dramatically lower than the people of today. Not because they were genetically predisposed to being less intelligent, but because IQ tests measure certain types of abstract.
There are people that are just stupid. This is, and there's a problem, is that a lot of people inside of Western society are terrified of the idea that people are not equal, but they're not. And we all know this. Everybody knows this. If you've gone to a public school, you would know this. There are a lot of people that are just born with less talent points than others. They're stupid. They're dumb.
Dude,
And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to like teach them something. Maybe you can make it a little bit better, but you're never going to teach a lot of these people to be rocket scientists. It's just never going to happen.
Hey, Zach, we have a study for that. I suggest you familiarize yourself with the A.B. Sidarian project because, yeah, we can train rocket scientists, actually, and we also can grow one's brain size simply with high-quality early childhood programs. You don't know what you're talking about. There's a reason you evolved with 2 ears and 1 mouth. James Flynn, the political scientist who documented this pattern, showed that IQ scores increased roughly 3 points per decade in many countries throughout the 20th century.
I think there's a lot of reasons why that happens. And one of the reasons is a eugenic reason. Whenever you have dumb people that are really stupid, the probability...
I'm sorry. Anybody bring up eugenics is an idiot anyway. But anyway...
is that they're not going to reproduce. So the reason why is that those dumb people usually make bad decisions. Those bad decisions get them put in jail, and you can't have a kid whenever you're in jail. So that's what happens, is that a lot of dumb people wrong. Well, of course, it's obvious that's true. Is that a lot of the dumbest people are going to get removed from the gene pool.
This man is arguing the opposite of reality. Evidence suggests the more intelligent a population, the less likely they are to produce. It's a paradox that we don't yet fully understand, but the data contradicts Asmongold's claim. To everyone's surprise, I am sure.
What do you mean? No, it's obvious this is true. You're going to have the lowest, the lowest, dumbest people that, like, I'm not talking about. See, like, this is what people don't understand. You're thinking I'm talking about people with like a 90 or an 80 IQ. I'm not. I'm talking about people with a 60 or a 70 IQ. This is a totally different wavelength. And those people are probably not reproducing.
Zach is contradicting himself. He called them low IQ because the average IQ in Somalia is 68, borderline retarded. Somalia, officially the Federal Republic of Somalia, is the easternmost country in the continental Africa, stretching across the Horn of Africa. It borders Ethiopia to the west, and I think it's Djibouti to the northwest, Kenya to the southwest, and the Gulf of Aden to the north, and the Indian Ocean to the east. Somalia has the largest coastline of Africa's mainland. Somalia has an estimated population of more than 18 million, of which 2.7 million live in the capital, in the largest city of Mogadishu. As one of Africa's most athletically homogeneous countries, and around 85% of the residents are ethnic Somalis. The official and national language of the country is Somali, where Arabic is recognized as a second language. The overwhelming population of the overwhelming majority of the population are Sunni Muslims. 70 IQ men are not reproducing. This is dumb. This is dumb.
Producing, because a lot of those, especially the majority of those people with that low of intelligence, are men. Those men are getting put in jail. That's it.
Where did he make this? Where did he get this at?
Where did he get this genetic and fixed?
It's not purely genetic. There's a lot of factors to it. Genetics are one factor, but it's not the only factor.
That kind of rapid change would be impossible. Evolution does not move that fast. Your great-grandparents were not biologically inferior to you. They just lived in a world with less formal education.
Well, they were shorter, too. Another component to this is that it's height. Like, people in general over the years have become tall.
Dumb. Yeah, are y'all listening to this? Now is height. So he literally said his grandmother. So that means your grandfather was shorter than you. And then his grandfather after that was shorter than him. Did we come from the Littles? Y'all remember the Littles? We're all around, all the little bits. And with a little bit of heart that you can see, it'd be a place for you and me. This dude is dumb. What is he? He's just saying stuff. He's saying stuff. That's because he's a human Muppet, Q. He is a human Muppet. And when you're a human Muppet, the little bits, yeah. When you're a human Muppet, you can't help but to glitch every now and again.
And I think the reason why is the same thing. Like, this isn't even an argument against what I was saying. I think everybody knows this.
You literally didn't. You thought the Flynn effect was a hard limit on one's intelligence. Please stop. You ain't fooling no one. Less exposure to abstract symbols, less complex media, and different cognitive demands.
I don't think that the reason why is that they have less complex media or there's less cognitive demand.
Who cares what you think? I'm communicating the data. You seem to be under the impression that I'm giving opinions here when I'm explaining the results of studies on this topic. This is why your response to my video was an abject failure. You believe you are arguing with an equal, a person that is giving an opinion. And since everyone has opinions, you thought yours was just as valuable as mine. But you see here, where it's talking specifically about media, yeah, I'm breaking down the data, not giving an opinion.
Right.
I don't care what you think. You're a person that literally admits you don't do any research on these topics. So what you think is precisely irrelevant.
Yes.
Which means IQ scores are sensitive to the environment and improve when the environment improves. Access to schooling, nutrition.
This is like going to class and telling the teacher, you're wrong. And the teacher asks, hey, did you even read this subject? Did you read the chapter? No, I don't read the chapter. Chapter reads me. You cannot argue with somebody who would not pick up a book. Rule number 1, do not argue with somebody who won't pick up a book.
Healthcare, the complexities of daily life, all of these things are relevant, and none were accounted for in Lynn's work. Because of course they weren't. Lynn was a self-described scientific racist. His goal was to show how inferior black people were. Richard Lynn's work on race.
This is, again, it's not even about race in the first place. This person's arguing with me about something that's different. Now, I do think that if you controlled for every...
I'm not even arguing with Asmongold. I'm criticizing Richard Lynn's position here. You could, again, they're not going to listen. The chapter reads me, right. They're not going to listen to you because you're bringing up facts. That's number 1. They're never going to listen to you. You're more intelligent than they are. You are researching more data and information that they are. I'm trying to tell you, this is the uppity N-word syndrome that racists have. Because don't be smarter than them. Don't be more intelligent. Again, I repeat it. I'm repeating this. Do not come with more logical sense and information. They're gonna come. He's really in his mind. He feels you're uppity. You're not even on my level. How dare you even speak to me? Just like when I went against somebody else just last week. How dare you say that to me? I'm so and so. I feel like I'm up here because I have a white man's credit score. The same mind state, the same mind frame is what you cannot make this stuff up. When you're literally hitting facts, information, all of that, they will not argue with that. They'll move the goalposts, they'll make up narratives, they'll do everything but answer the damn questions or concede to the factual information. That's it. Just say, you know what, you're right. You're right. You're right. You got it.
Every variable. Here's the reality, right? Is that if you controlled for every single variable and every variable was exactly the same, and you took 1 million people that lived in Somalia and you took 1 million people that lived in China and you judged their IQ, would they both have the same IQ?
This is Zach admitting that his argument was always about genetics, because if it weren't, he'd know the answer to this question is a scientific unknowable. He has always assumed a genetic basis for this argument, and I'm glad he finally admitted it after lying earlier. In any case, we don't know the answer, but all evidence points to them having similar IQs if every factor was accounted for. You don't have competing evidence suggesting any other outcome. Besides Lynn, of course, a person that had to publish his findings in the scientific equivalent of the magazines the Men in Black read. Let's move on. The bell curve has been challenged by geneticists, psychologists, and statisticians for overstating the heritability of IQ across groups and for downplaying environmental variables, treating socially constructed racial categories as biological truth. Richard Lynn was one of the primary scholars who compiled and popularized cross-national IQ datasets.
Here's what I think also, because this is just like more bullshit. I think that what you should do is you should do more research into this and figure it out yourself. Go over there and test it.
This is the whole thing. What? Like, that is the crescendo of all of this. You should do more research. No, mother, you should do more research. You should do more. You should read a book. You, instead of talking out the side of your ass, you should listen to the guy who's debunking the research you are quoting. You kid. Dude, this is so exhausting. This is so exhausting. Seriously.
These people for IQ. Test people that came over here that don't have these same problems and then see what their IQs are.
So basically, Zach's eyes glazed over because he couldn't keep up. So he called me citing studies bullshit and goes on to say, I need to conduct these studies on IQ. That's not how the burden of proof works, dipshit. You are the one claiming these people have low IQs, so you need to go conduct those studies. My side is the current scientific consensus. We already know your eugenicist talking points are bullshit. You need to go prove it to yourself.
There's a reason why we don't do a lot of research on this. And the reason why people don't do research on this is because they're afraid of the answer. I'm confident that I think that more research and more investigation into this will lead to the obvious outcome. But for some people, they don't even want to talk about it. They don't even want to look into it. And that's the real problem. And they don't want to do that because what they've built onto it is they built an entire ideology of the blank slate. The blank slate doesn't exist. The blank slate is to a degree true.
And that's all you need to know about Asmongold's positions on anything.
The blank slate doesn't exist. The blank slate is to a degree true.
Huh? It don't make, like, this is stupid. It is stupid. Like, legitimately, I can't see how he has an audience and people actually listen to this mess. If you listen to people, it tells you exactly who they are. Especially when you cannot formulate a sentence that makes sense. All it has to do is make sense. All you have to do is just bring it, just pull it up. Just pull it up.
Alleging to show innate racial hierarchies.
Yes.
This is the textbook definition of racism, by the way, that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and that those different...
It is a fundamental determinant of traits. It obviously...
What?
Obviously is.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. He just admitted he's a racist
Racism.
by definition.
Yep, I believe that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember me being really big into flat earth. I was. And the reason why I stopped arguing flat earth, for one, I'm never going to go out of space ever. I can look at something from an airplane, but I mean, the land is so big. I mean, you know, my human brain can't, comprehend that. And there's people that do this for a living. Why am I arguing with this? I don't really care. I have a hard enough time. I literally have a hard enough time trying to figure out why races like this is still on YouTube than to me arguing with somebody if the earth is flat or not. I don't care. This is more fun to find out why this is a thing that I'm watching right now. You know what I mean? People are literally calling themselves, by definition, a racist. By definition, arguing racist talking points and agreeing with themselves. Like, I'd rather deal with this.
With the definition on screen. So for all the people that claimed I called Zach a racist, I never did, but I probably should have, by his own admission.
One of the best traits is skin color. Big surprise. People of one race are going to have one skin color.
He just said people of one race are going to have one skin color.
I needed that laugh. I needed that laugh. I needed that. I needed that laugh. Woo! Black Americans, we all should be one color. Hell, me and my brother is not the same color. Me and my sister under me, we're not the same color. What is he talking about? White people ain't even the same color. What is he talking about? This dude is dumb. I'm confused.
I guess he thinks these two people are of a different race and that these two people are the same race.
Facts. Oh my Lord, have mercy. God, she fine. Anyway, that's just the whole argument about Aaron Pierre. Like Aaron Pierre is lighter. He's lighter and he has green eyes, right? Compared to his mother and his father. You know what I mean? But somehow, some way, you know what I'm saying? People are mad because he's light and they thought he was mixed. Two black parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. Oh, man, you cannot make this up. They're fine.
Wonder what he'll say when he sees Freddy. Let's let him continue making a fool of himself.
This is one thing that people don't even consider with like racism and skin color are actually two different things. Like if you have people that are from a different race, like race isn't always defined by just like one specific thing. Skin color is just the most obvious indicator of that. Very clearly, there are racial differences between people. Anybody knows this. This is the type of a priori knowledge that every single person in the entire world knows is true, but inside of Western culture, we're supposed to pretend like it's not true because people are all willingly participating in this deliberate lie.
What is he talking about? Hold up, because you cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. I mean, there is, particular books that is available that you can find who created what we call race, the race of people. Hold on. Let me see if where's my Kindle? Hold on. I think my Kindle app still has this. Okay. That's what I was looking for. The Myth of Race, the troubling persistence of an unscientific idea. This is the book that I have. I kept saying it wrong. I said The Invention of Race is the Myth of Race. And this is the book that I have on my Kindle. So, hold on. Oh, I gotta. But this book right here, it talks about the myth of race traces the origins of modern racist ideology to the Spanish Inquisition. I keep trying to tell y'all better learn about 1492 in the Spanish Inquisition and for Babylon and Timbuktu. I'm trying to tell you ever since then, when they sent those people over to the west coast of Africa, I'm trying to tell you what happened after that. This breaks down all of eugenics, all of this. it's based on racist information. Go, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, go get this book. Go get this book, because this is the reason why I bring this stuff up. And Birdman is just making this is an excellent video, though. This is an excellent video, but I'm just saying, this stuff was all based in racism, not facts. Racism.
Very clearly, race is a factor. It's obviously a factor, same as gender is and everything else. But for some reason, because people are afraid of talking about this, nobody ever wants to look into it at all.
What? What the hell was that rant? What did any of that have to do with me showing the textbook definition of racism? You sound like an intelligent design proponent. Teach the controversy. No one is afraid of your bullshit eugenics, Zach. They just fall apart under scrutiny.
Yes, they
Being
do.
debunked is not people hiding the truth.
Right.
You are a conspiracy theorist, and not even a particularly good one. Flat earthers at least read the literature. Some of them, anyway.
I am dumb and I can't read.
The problem is not simply that Lynn held...
Because also keep in mind that if you were actually trying to debunk this, you would do further research into people that live in these areas, and then he would be showing that further research and the IQ differences being more like smaller, right? Like, okay, well, there was other research and this research came out and it proved that it wasn't true. Isn't it interesting to you that in all of these videos and all of this information, not a single actual point of like counter research is provided?
Unfucking believable. He just accused me of not providing counter evidence when some of that counter evidence is behind his head on the screen.
Exactly.
Not to mention, this entire video is explicitly me providing counter evidence. This is one of the most embarrassing responses I've ever seen. He's also asking for us to conduct a study to disprove his claim. Zach doesn't understand the concept of the burden of proof. He is the one that believes and claims African people inherently have lower IQs, so he has to conduct those studies. It's his claim. You see this dumb shit by people who don't know how to debate all the time.
Yep.
You can't prove me wrong. We don't need to prove you wrong.
Exactly.
You need to prove you right. Saying they won't let us conduct the studies is absolute cope. This is embarrassing for you because that research already exists, as explained by this study right here. It's just that your specific claims routinely get debunked. You don't like the outcomes of peer review, so you lie and construct a boogeyman.
Exactly.
Extreme views, including open support for eugenics, but that his data practices have been widely criticized for flaws in its methodology.
Eugenics works. A good example of it is Yao Ming.
Asmongold is openly advocating for eugenics. And no, the dumb example Zach gives with Yao Ming is not an example of eugenics, because eugenics refers to systematic attempts to control reproduction across a population to promote certain traits, not two tall people having sex to have a tall child. Upon reviewing Lynn's work, Wichert states the following. The assertion that the average IQ of Africans is below 70 is not tenable, even under the most lenient of inclusion criteria. Because Lynn missed a sizable portion of the relevant literature, their estimate of average IQ of Africans is clearly too low. Combined, the current systematic review and the results of our review of Raven's test suggests that the average IQ of African test takers is close to 80.
Is this an argument against me?
Holy shit. This genius tweeted the IQ of Somali people is 68 and that this was a fact. And I show evidence that this wasn't actually a fact. And he responds with, is this an argument against me?
You're a moron and a coward. I hate people like you.
Yes, Zach. It definitively proves that you've been quoting an inaccurate number this entire time. One nearly an entire standard deviation lower than the actual figure. How you're trying to spin this is beyond me. On top of that, you and your moronic followers are trying to pretend 82 and 68 are not significantly different numbers when, again, that's almost an entire standard deviation. It is also leaving out the fact that the 82 IQ figure isn't correcting for economic and environmental factors. So these people are close to average despite living in abject poverty. This entire section of my video ass fucks your original tweet. And for whatever reason, you're pretending like I haven't debunked you. Perhaps it's you with a 68 IQ, Zach, because you're clearly not intelligent enough to understand that I just demolished your argument. If these people are close to average while suffering from malnutrition and various other economic factors, what happens when they're in a country that doesn't have those issues? Think about it for 3 seconds.
He don't want to. He doesn't want to.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. He's arguing against you? Yes. You cannot join the army with an IQ below 80, by the way. They're borderline. Exactly. So I think that the benchmark, so you cannot be part of the army if your IQ is, I think, below 82. And the reason why is because, and also keep in mind, average. Now, what does average mean? It means half of the people are below that.
Look at his smug face while completely getting average wrong. What he just described is the median, not the average. This guy doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, yet he's so confident. This is so fucking funny.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh is right, buddy, because according to that stupid logic, it also means half the people are above that. I guess he just forgot what half means. This guy doesn't know the difference between mean and median, and he's trying to shit talk people with supposed low IQs. You cannot make this up.
You really can't.
What Wichards is saying here is that Lynn conducted bad science, and that the average estimated IQ of poverty-stricken African people is actually close to average, which is usually defined.
The average, it's actually, wait, what?
African people is actually close to average.
80 is not the average at all.
How is it possible that you heard me say 80 is close to average? And
this dude's an idiot, man. This dude is just not smart. He is what we call deaf. That means not smart. He is not. Everything that we have talked about in this Wakandan interview, this man right here does not need a shield. He needs a book. He needs a book. He needs something to grasp onto because he is an idiot. He is dumb.
Still strawman my argument. I mean, I'm even showing on the screen that the average is considered between 85 and 115, and you still don't get it? You, the guy whose argument against immigration is partially based on how intelligent someone is? Yeah, I don't think you're the guy for this conversation, Zach. You might want to tag somebody else in.
What are you talking about? That's extremely low in America. That's incredibly low. It's low in Asia too. Wait, what?
Which is usually defined as between 85 to 1.
He doesn't need a Dr. Pepper. He needs magic special stuff. I mean, Michael's special stuff from Space Jam. So he can figure out what the hell is he talking about.
15.
So if it's between 85 and 115, and he said it was low 80s and it was 80 to 82, then it wouldn't be part of the average. You just said the number wrong.
This is absolutely hysterical. I didn't say anything wrong, Zach. I very specifically said close to average. 82 is close to 85. I can't say it any plainer than that. It's absolutely frying me that you can barely keep up here while being an advocate of IQ scores. It's like your picture should be next to irony in the dictionary. And remember, we are talking about countries that have faced civil war, famine, disrupted schooling, disease.
Civil war, famine, disruptive schooling, disease. Okay, these seem all great reasons to bring these people into America.
Yes, I agree, because then they wouldn't be facing those issues and could thus thrive as a people. See? Common ground. And extreme poverty, not to mention constant exploitation by Western countries that literally...
That's right. It's Western countries' fault why these countries are shitholes.
Shithole is relative. See, you, Zach, lived in a shithole.
Oh, my God. That's not his place. You cannot tell me that's his place. I actually had to get on my son because his room was looking like that. Like, yo, what the hell, dude? But, yo, that's crazy. That is disgusting. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. I just got a couple of teas down here, and I get mad when I forget that my tea bottles is down here. That's nasty. I know there's all kind of creepy crawlers and critters up in that mug. Gross.
Due to the current policies of the United States, many non-Americans refer to America as a shithole. My point is, your opinion is irrelevant here. The fact is that, yes, Western countries have destabilized many countries in Africa, including Somalia, and those actions are a major cause for the economic situation these countries are currently in. This is an inarguable fact. The Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States majorly affected Somalia, with Somalia initially siding with the Soviets until they betrayed Somalia by allying with Ethiopia during the Ogaden War. This led to Somalia siding with the U.S. during that conflict, and this war led to the collapse of the Somali government in 1991. This collapse caused a civil war, and that is why so many Somalis fled to places like Minnesota. So yes, the United States and the Soviet Union played a crucial part in the collapse of the Somali government. Go back to school because you don't know a fucking thing.
And that's the reason why, for example, whenever Britain invaded China and forced them to, buy tea and stuff like that, and they colonized India, that's why there's no smart people and people successful in China and India. That's the exact reason. Because, see, like every country that, Europeans colonized is now just totally fucking famine-stricken and terrible, like China, for example.
This is a false equivalence. China was never fully colonized by European powers. Again, you don't know what you're talking about. What happened in Africa was fundamentally different from what happened in India or China.
Wild.
During the scramble for Africa, European powers controlled 90% of the continent and built colonial systems designed primarily for resource extraction.
Yes.
Those systems left weak political institutions after those countries gained independence.
I'm going to just pause it real quick because I want to bring up something. I just want to bring up just a short video that's going to back up the claims that the Birdman is saying. I believe I still have this video on here. Hold on. To your love, you got to hold on. All right, let me share my screen just real quick. Listen to this.
Sense for me. Black people cannot create functioning economies, so we need to destroy any successful black economies everywhere. Black people are not smart at all. So we need to copy every single invention they have ever made, from writing to mathematics to religion to music to dancing to dressing to makeup. Black people are poor, but we just can't seem to want to leave Africa. Black people are ugly, but we need to copy every single attribute that comes to them naturally. Black people are violent, and yet we dominate all forms of violence, from world wars to the Holocaust to genocide to atomic bombs, to eradication of a whole continent of people, actually 2 continents, and maybe 3, to mass shootings, to domestic violence, to clinical experiments on unsuspecting black populations. Black people are lazy, but we want to use them to do the hardest work in plantations. Black people have no history, but we need to appropriate ourselves every successful civilization they have ever built. From Egypt to early Sumer to Carthage to the Numidians, the Garamonte, to the Empire of Ghana, to Great Zimbabwe, to ancient Sahara. And for all those who are going to complain, we have the receipts on every single one of these in our Without History channel. Make this make sense.
See what I mean? These people that talk this crap don't want to bring up facts. That's why I wanted to stop it just for a moment, because everything that we have tried to create and all of that, here's where we at. This is where we're at. So it's just hilarious how people act.
India, by contrast, inherited a centralized administrative state from the British, and China retained state continuity because it was never fully colonized. You're actually making my argument for me, that institutions matter, because places like India were left with robust investment in their social systems, while Africans were treated like cattle, used as bodies for war and things to be exploited for the enrichment of Europe. persists to this day.
God.
The phone you're watching this video on contains cobalt,
Yes.
a chemical element that is abundant in the Congo. This element is mined using child labor in the Congo,
Yes.
and not only does this mining degrade the environment and pollute the local water system, it results in birth defects of the children born there. As they
So
have
why would you want to bring a bunch of defective kids into America? Why would you want to do that? That's stupid.
I am describing the conditions that contribute to these people's socioeconomic outcomes. If they're being exploited, this would contribute to them having a lower IQ. Your argument against their potential immigration is that they're lower IQ. I am proving that we are contributing to that, not making an argument that any one person should immigrate to the United States, but that if they did immigrate, their IQs would rapidly increase, because that's what happens when you live in a country where you're not being exploited and receive proper nutrition and education. Why is Zach having this hard a time keeping up with this very simple video? Do I need to speak slower?
Yeah.
In
Because he's an
1996,
idiot.
the American
No, he wouldn't
Psychological
even listen in.
Association's Task Force on Intelligence explicitly warned that environmental factors such as education, nutrition, and health significantly influence IQ test performance.
Why do they keep warning and not researching?
How the blue hell does anyone sit through this man talking for more than 10 minutes at a time? He just asked, why are they not researching while the research is literally on the screen for him? You see, he's not listening to understand. He's waiting for an opportunity to speak, usually with one of his stupid canned talking points that has nothing to do with what's being said. This is an absolutely abysmal attempt at a rebuttal, and the fact that he wasn't embarrassed to put this shit out is exactly the problem with this guy. So this brings us back to Zach's tweet.
Right.
Yes, this claim is racist because it was made by a racist whose entire purpose was to denigrate an entire continent to uphold white supremacist narratives.
Guys, it's 80. It's not 67. It's not 68. It's actually all the way up there at 80. It's racist. It's racist. Guys, it's racist. Oh, no.
The only thing you were missing there was the clown makeup, Asmongold, because you are doing nothing here but making a fool of yourself. You were wrong about the number you cited, calling it a fact, and now you're coping, pretending that 82 isn't a significantly higher number than the one you cited. You're trying to downplay being off by nearly one standard deviation. Yes, the claim you made was racist because that number was specifically arrived at to denigrate African people, as Lynn excluded evidence that showed African IQ scores were higher than what he wanted to show. You haven't refuted a fucking thing here. You're just talking over my video. Defend yourself. Fight back. Substantiate your claims. Do something other than crying about people correctly attributing the racist label to a guy that literally called himself racist. You have no evidence. You have no facts. You have nothing backing you up besides your feelings. Well, guess what, motherfucker? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Thank you.
I'd be embarrassed to be subscribed to you because the best you had to offer was think about it for 3 seconds. How about you think about it for 4 seconds? Because at least with that extra one, you might accidentally stumble into a real argument.
Keep in mind the biggest mining operations in Africa are Chinese. They usually employ Russian mercenaries for protection. What's this Western
what
bullshit?
is he
Of course
talking
the Chinese
about?
do that. I mean, duh.
See? Some dumb, inaccurate bullshit that his audience pulled from their ass, and he just accepts it because it fits the narrative. Chinese mining operations in Africa aren't even in the top 10. Like, some of these are even called Anglo. Once again, no facts, no evidence, no nothing. Just regurgitate anything that seems to fit his narrative. And it's even more embarrassing because he's doing this live, proving he knows literally nothing about this topic. A worldview requires Somalia or any other African.
And again, that's why when I'm doing this and I'm doing it live, I've been on for almost 3 hours. What are we doing? Bringing up information as we go along. This dude is a complete jackass.
African country to be permanently capped at 68 IQ in order to make sense, then the science wasn't the point.
Yes.
The conclusion is.
Yes.
And that,
well, the
ironic,
conclusion is the point, actually. Like, if there's a country that has an IQ of 68 average, or let's say it's 80
still
on
bringing
average,
that up.
let's assume it's 85. Do I want to bring a bunch of median level, average 85 IQ people into the country? No, it's because these people are like an entire almost standard deviation below the average. And I think that their functional value in society is going to be minimal.
Two things. First, Zach was just trying to laugh off being nearly a standard deviation off in his tweet, but is somehow now arguing that a standard deviation from average is big enough to warrant banning these people from immigration. The guy is a flaming hypocrite. And second, we've already proven that these apparently low IQ Somali people contribute significantly to the economy, so saying their contribution is minimal is a flat-out lie. But Zach did just prove that he'll accept literally anything as long as it confirms what he wants to believe.
Exactly.
So we know he's just talking out of his ass here with nothing to back up his claims.
As long as it's as long as it fits the narrative, you will hear these people continually do the same thing. As long as it fits the narrative and they're not bringing up any other information, this is exactly what they could do, and people are eating this up.
Mic drops, I know. So basically, this guy spent his entire video calling me racist, and then when he finally showed the data still showed the exact same thing that I was saying, but he said it was a different number.
Everything out of your crust-ridden mouth is a fucking lie. I didn't spend my entire video calling you a racist. We all just watched it together. I spent nearly the entire video not even talking about you. 99% of that video's runtime is me talking about the history of the claim and why it was bad science. Not only that, I never once called you a racist, only that the claim itself is a racist claim. Remember, we are talking about whether Trump's claim was racist in nature. No one is even talking about you specifically. Not even you. And the idea that anything I said supported your dumbass tweet is ludicrous. You were summarily debunked. You stated Somalis had a 68 IQ. That was a lie. You said it was a fact. I proved it wasn't. You said this was a narrative push. I proved you're the only one pushing a narrative.
Facts.
This idea that the 82 IQ number that Witchard's used supports anything you believe is nonsensical. You're forgetting that part of that argument is that those people are still living in poverty and are malnourished. The argument is that if these people immigrated to somewhere like America, their IQs would be perfectly average because the data supports that those with lower IQs can raise them with proper nutrition and education. How the fuck did you fail to comprehend the video this hard? I can't believe someone like you has the nerve to use IQ to denigrate others because clearly you are low IQ.
Jeez Louise. All right, one last commercial break. I gotta finish eating this. One last commercial break, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show. Don't go nowhere.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Are you going down? Then you gotta know the best way to go. On the down low.
Damn, you banking like that? And you come over here with a biscuit meal, man?
Would you like to take a survey? No. Elevator go down the hall.
It's you! It's you!
Whoop they do?
We are talking about the same girl.
Okay, well, what do we do? Fight a duel or something?
Well, I don't know. Maybe,
The conclusion of Step
Back. Like this?
Slower. Bend over.
Studman, what's going on?
Darling, are you all right?
Studman, who was that woman?
That was Professor Haight, disguised as an ugly French lap dancer.
Ugly? She looked beautiful.
I suppose she might have been considered beautiful until you walked in the room.
Oh, Stedman, I've been dreaming of this moment. Come here.
Wild horses couldn't keep me away. Invisible robots!
Invisible robots?
Beep, 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 beep.
Look out!
Man, he's Stedman. Not just a Bruce boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay.
No way, sister. Stedman, he's Stedman.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right. So just to conclude this video up, this was one of the worst ass whoopings I've ever saw in my life. I just never seen someone who literally had the information behind them. They can speak to the information that's there, still will argue against it, not pull up no secondary information, no nothing, just saying, and not even concede. Just argue. Don't bring up nothing. Just argue. And this is just as, I'm not gonna lie, this is just kill my whole brain. So I am literally exhausted from doing this because it just I don't know why I was little. I'm just exhausted by going over this. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just exhausted for going over there. But like I said, you got to look at you look at it like this. Anybody who talks but can't bring up the factual information to back up what they're saying, literally, data's facts and statistics. You might as well be like, whatever. These just making stuff up and can't bring anything up. You're never, because I can't even, if you're going to make stuff up just to fit a narrative, I'm out. I'm completely out, because why would I listen to you when you can't even, when you're lying to yourself? You got to get up every day in the morning, wash your face, brush your teeth, and look at a liar every day, because you can't even, if you lie to us, what the hell are you saying to yourself every day?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
Yo, put it in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. Again, this was rough. But let me know what you guys think. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you never, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, man. Enjoy the rest of your money. We'll be back for more Blurred AF tonight. Where's my outro at? Because you already know I gotta go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Huh. Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.